The overlook it because it was at
Kappa project.
yeah, the Heifer project. It was that still part of Overlook?
Way back, yeah.
I went through their international, it was impressive.
Tom, it's not long anymore.
Are you doing something before I bring I can bring mine to order,
Yeah, I was
right?
just gonna give it another minute to
But I
6.
can bring to order too, at that time, or do you part of this meeting first?
I guess that's up to you, if you wanna wait till after we get through our old business.
Yeah.
Sure. No. I brought this piece.
Yeah.
Look. I brought this.
I'm gonna bring the finance committee meeting, I'm gonna bring it to order, but the selectmen are just gonna finish up some old business first. Okay, and anybody that's here for the meeting, I ask that you just silence your phone for us, cause it's a distraction and I would appreciate it.
Alright, it is 6 o'clock, so I will call to order the Rutland Select Board meeting for Thursday, October 23rd, 2025, 6:01 PM. We are in the Rutland, lower level of the Rutland Public Library. We are on Zoom. We are being recorded for live stream and YouTube posting. Right now, we are a 4-member board. We do have our 5th member who will be coming in a little bit later. Before we get started, if we could stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do you want to call your meeting first, or?
I already did.
Okay, that's it.
Yep, we're good.
Planning board, I'll call it to order at 6:02.
So we have, before we get into the warrant, we just have a matter of old business, which is to continue the deliberation on the street acceptance request for Lindsay Lane. I just want to make note that the public hearing for this road has happened and has been completed. So there is no more testimony, there will be no public comment this evening. This is just strictly a continuation of the board's deliberation to decide to either move forward and lay out the road or not to lay out the road.
So I think if I may through the chair, I think this was one, there was some outstanding questions with the easements, and I think we had communication back from legal as well as from DPW Director Kolofsky that addressed my concerns for that. So if the board is comfortable, I'm willing to make the motion to lay out Lindsay Way.
Yeah, and just for the public's knowledge, the question was regarding the sewer easement, and we did confirm that it is a private easement and that is nothing that needs to be turned over to the town. So there's no further action for anything that the town needs to have in place as far as the correct easements. So we have a memo from DPW Director Kolofsky stating as such, as well as, like you noted, Leah, the information from legal as well, so I'm comfortable.
So then I would move to lay out the order of layout of Lindsay Lane, formerly known as Lemon Circle, whereas the select board of the town of Rutland, acting pursuant to GL Chapter 82, Section 21 through 24, have deemed that common convenience and necessity require the acceptance of Lindsay Lane as a town way, hereby lays out said portion of Lindsay Lane as a public way, all shown on the plan referenced below, and whereas the boundaries of the layout of the portion of Lindsay Lane, formerly known as Lemon Circle, from station 00+00 to station 6+00 are shown on a plan entitled Amended Definitive Plan Bryce Lemon Estates, Rutland, Massachusetts, dated March 28th, 2014, prepared by James B. Hollick, RLS and PE, and recorded with the Worcester South District Registry of Deeds in Plan Book 913, page 67, which plan was referenced to the planning board and which plan is hereby adopted as part of this order, and all land lying within the aforesaid portion of Lindsay Lane is hereby laid out as a public way. The aforementioned plan is hereby forwarded to the town clerk for filing, and the foregoing layout is hereby reported to the town for acceptance.
If there's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on the motion?
Just thank you guys for following up with legal
Yes,
and
thank you.
Chris and everything.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, I will take a roll call.
Second, aye.
Whitman, aye.
Not tonight.
Ledger I. Do you want to do tonight?
We'll note it.
Okay, thank you. Alright, old business is taken care of, so we will move into the preparations for special town meeting to review the proposed articles on the draft warrant and make recommendations. Does either board or committee, we just kind of start at the top and work our way through. I think in the past, we've done it both ways, but do we want to review each one and make a recommendation as we go through, or review each one and do recommendations at the end?
I think we should, would be my idea that we go through step by step and move right here and right now and continue on instead of moving.
Recommendations as we go?
Yep.
Yes, please.
Is that amenable to,
Yes.
you okay with that, Paul?
Yes.
Alright, so Article 1 is to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds the amounts listed below or any other sum for the purpose of paying bills incurred in a prior fiscal year or take any action in relation to. So this is the article just for the bills that came after July 1st, correct, Donna? After the end of the fiscal year that we just need to account for. Any questions or?
Do we expect anything else? Is there another expected bill that we expect that is still coming, or is that it?
Not that I'm aware of.
Negative, this is it.
Yeah.
If there is, it won't be on here.
Well, I wonder if it's just locked into
No.
the purpose of paying bills.
Only was there.
Yeah, okay.
It looks like there was a question that FinCom had on this one that we have, any other questions on that?
Thank you for taking that.
Do we have a question? No.
Yeah, we asked about the electrician bill up there.
Oh, that was, yeah.
There was a couple, there was an electrician bill, if I might, electrician bill, and there was some backflow testing that was done, that some needed to come out for water sewer.
Okay,
Says, yeah, cause it says, your Seth's answer says we recovered the difference, or recovered the payment, whatever.
so
That was our question.
I don't know how you wanna do this, you wanna make your motion first, you want us to make a motion, you tell us what order you would like to do it.
We can start
Okay,
and just do it
we'll
if
just
there's.
follow right up and
Sure.
we'll just bang through.
Are there any concerns, questions from the select board on Article 1?
No, everything's laid out well here.
I do wanna appreciate Donna for sending all the breakdowns of all the stuff.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Donna, for that.
Yep.
Do you want a motion to place and then a motion of recommendation, or?
Do you want separate motions to place and recommendation? Probably.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't really matter.
Okay. Together?
I would move to place Article 1 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Second,
There's a motion and a second, any other discussion? Okay, roll call, Harry,
second, aye.
Whitman, aye.
That's an aye.
Ledger I.
I make a motion that the finance board recommend favorable action on Article 1.
Okay, we have to do a roll call, cause Ted's not here. Karen,
Karen, I'm sorry, I missed who seconded it.
I'll second.
Oh, sorry. So the question being, do I have to do a roll call, cause
Yes.
there's not room, okay.
Wald, I.
Winika, aye.
Benoit, aye?
Haber, aye.
Rochelle, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye. That's all I need to do.
Alright, moving to Article 2, to see if the town will vote consistent with its financial policies to transfer from free cash the sum of $164,081, an amount equal to 5% of fiscal year 2025 and fiscal year 2026 free cash to the town's general stabilization fund, bringing the total general stabilization fund balance to $1,514,399, or take any action in relation thereto. So this is just adding in the recommended 5% that was not added in for fiscal year 2025, and then adding in the 5% as recommended for fiscal year 2026. Funded through free cash. Does the select board have any questions, concerns?
Yes, I got several questions, primarily for Seth. Seth, at this point, do we know that we won't need last year's 5% to go to our budget this year?
We can't answer that, it's too early, and if you needed it, you can always vote to take it out. We're not spending it, we're just putting it, and we're
Question.
policing town financial policy.
Okay, question 2. What's the maximum amount that we can have? Is there a policy that states you can only have up to 5% of total revenue put into your stabilization in the policy?
Policy states the general stabilization fund should be between 7 and 12% of the general operating budget.
And where are we now?
We're probably right at 5%.
5%?
Yep.
Okay.
And there's no limit, you can put all the free cash in it if you wanted to by vote, it's like.
So it's a recommended 5 to 7, not
That's
a
what the
statutory
No,
5 to 7?
it's recommended by town policy.
Okay, thank you.
I would move that the select board place Article 2 as presented with a favorable recommendation.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion?
Slide now.
You can't.
Second, aye?
Wait a minute.
Mattson, aye.
They can stay, we can leave the door.
You can't shut the door.
Yeah, the door has
Can't
to
shut the
stay
door.
open, but you could ask them to move down.
If you're gonna talk.
Thank you. For them to come in.
Perfect, thank you. They can, this chair's available now also.
To you, Darren.
Tommy?
I move the finance committee recommend favorable action on Article 2.
Second.
We have, motion made and seconded, roll call.
Narwhal, yes.
Winika, yeah, favorable, yes.
Benoit, yes.
Haber, yes.
Rochelle, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye.
Thank you.
All right.
Article 3, to see if the town will vote consistent with its financial policies to transfer from free cash the sum of $399,081, an amount equal to 5% of fiscal year 2025 and fiscal year 2026 free cash plus $235,000 to replenish the amount used to fund Article 7 at the 2025 annual town meeting to the town's capital stabilization fund, bringing the total capital stabilization fund balance to $461,693, or take any action in relation thereto. So similarly, this is just to add the 5% recommended that was not added for fiscal year 2025, and the 5%, 5% for FY25 and 2026 that was not added in, plus the replenishment amount noted. Any questions, concerns, conversation?
Question, Seth?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna be approving or supposedly will be submitting to the town for approval of a piece of equipment for the DPW in the article. Is it coming out of capital after we put the money into capital?
Correct.
So why are we putting it into capital instead of using it to help pay for the?
the street, sweeper,
Sweeper's coming out of stormwater retained earnings,
some of it is, right?
all of it.
Oh, it's all?
All.
I thought I read some.
I think
Okay.
you're talking about the pickup truck.
What's that?
I think you're talking about the pickup
Maybe
truck.
the pickup, okay.
And then going out of stormwater, in my personal opinion, is a great idea for that, so. The stormwater one's a bugaboo for me, so I like that idea.
All right. That's it, thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no other conversation from the board, I would move to place Article 3 as presented and with a favorable recommendation from the board, the select board.
I will
Second,
second.
he beat me.
Paul, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion from the select board? Alright, Harry?
I apologize for doing the discussion before the second. Second and I.
Whitman, aye.
Mattson, aye.
And Ledger, aye.
I make a motion that the finance board recommends favorable action on Article 3.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on Article 3, now we'll take a roll call, do we have any discussion? We have a roll call vote, please.
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye.
Nord, aye.
Neighbor.
Rushala, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye. Motion passes. Okay,
Article 4, to see if the town will vote consistent with its financial policies to transfer from free cash the sum of $294,081, an amount equal to 5% of the FY '25 and FY '26 free cash, plus $130,000 to replenish the amount used to balance the fiscal year '26 annual operating budget to the town's OPEB trust fund, bringing the total OPEB trust fund balance to $557,369, or take any action in relation thereto. So just as with the previous articles, just adding in the recommended 5% and replenishing the amount used to balance the budget this current fiscal year. Is there any?
Second?
I didn't make a motion, just,
Oh,
is there
I thought
any?
you were-
No, sorry, just reviewing. Any
Okay.
questions?
I do.
Of course.
Seth again,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Town Administrator. How much do we spend every year from this fund?
Last year was the first year we withdrew any money from this fund.
And how much was that, do you know?
It was
130,000.
How much? 130. 130.
The amount we're putting back in.
Are we expecting to be doing that every year?
Hopefully not.
Okay. And how much are we allowed to maintain in that OPEB trust fund? Because I'm worried that it's gonna build and it's gonna sit there and we can't do anything with it except for OPEB.
I would refer to Donna on that question.
So there's not a limit to what you can have in there. I think that it is prudent for the town one, that one, for the number of employees we have on the town and the retirees, I think the amount we would be to with this transfer in would be a positive thing for the community.
Do you think $500,000, in your opinion, or $500,000 is kind of where we should stay? Or do you see we should be at 3/4 or 600,000? I'm trying to figure out, you know, if we're gonna have 600 or 600,000 sitting there for 15 years, because we're taking out what we're gonna be doing every year, it kind of questions our use of funds. My question of use of funds.
So you are correct, you can only use it for retiree health benefits, right, that is the purpose, but it makes for a strong community that when you have this the OPEB funded. It's an ever-changing number because the OPEB report is done every 2 years. I don't know that I can give you a firm number because it's not something that stays the same.
Isn't it actuarials that look at it? It's like a pension fund. It's
Yeah,
I know.
actuaries that look at it, so we're not funded to where we need to be as per the actuarial
Not there
report.
yet. Actuarially, correct.
Right, as
Okay.
per the report, we're not there.
I think we need to work this balance to where we understand what this number is relative to our liabilities, and I don't think we're there yet.
Will we get there?
It's
I
possible,
mean,
yeah.
is there, I don't wanna deviate too much, but do we need software? Do we need other issues that say, here's how we can predict what our pension liability is gonna be? And what we have to fund outside of the normal pension for this?
So this isn't the pension liability, it is other post-employment benefits, but
Right,
I do understand your questions, and I am more on the lines of don't over fund it as well. But in the case of the general fund, I think that this particular article is prudent for Rutland.
okay. Okay, but there is no limit on that,
There is no limit, no.
okay. So it's a year by year deciding what we wanna put in,
And it's year by year whether or not you wanna decide to take it out too,
okay?
to use it for your retiree benefit.
And this says an amount equal to 5, is it up to 5 we can put in, or do we have to put in 5%?
That is a local policy that was established within our financial policy, so that's a local.
So that's a policy,
That's,
which could be changed,
Yeah,
okay?
financial
well, that
policy.
5% is what the town decided to have a number of years ago, is that would be the number each year.
I understand that, but times are different now. And we don't know if 5 or 3% in a particular year would be what's appropriate for our balance sheet or what we're going in the operations of the town. So that was my question, if we're at $1 million in the OPEB fund, do we still wanna put 5% in there?
Well, I don't think any of the prices that this is supposed to pay was going down, and the pension fund isn't gonna be fully where it's supposed to be until, what, 2034 or 2035 or something like that?
I can't see into the future.
I can't either, I'm just
So
telling
that's
you
what I'm saying.
what the
We don't
information
have,
is.
we can't go down to 3% if we can. So my question is, maybe this is a policy that needs to be looked at.
I think
Okay.
a good thing would be to get a public understanding of what the actuarial predictions are for what the actual need is, so that we can see like, okay, in 3 years we'll get there and we can go down, or that comparison is important.
If that's possible. Okay. Thank you. Those are my questions.
Questions, discussion?
We move to place Article 4 as presented on the warrant with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
So motion, is there a second?
Second emotion.
Any other discussion from the select board? Harry?
Second, aye?
Whitman, aye.
Mattson, aye.
Ledger, aye.
I make a motion that we recommend favorable action on Article 4.
Second.
Motion made and seconded for favorable action on Article 4. Do a roll call right now. Ms. Snell.
Harold, aye.
Winika, aye.
Benoit, aye.
Faber, aye.
Rushala, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye.
Moving into Article 5, to see if the town will vote consistent with its financial policies to transfer from water and sewer retained earnings the sum of $40,764, an amount equal to 5% of FY 2026 water and sewer retained earnings to the Water and Sewer OPEB Trust Fund, bringing the total Water and Sewer OPEB Trust Fund balance to $421,730, or take any action in relation thereto. So this is essentially the same action as the previous article, just for the Water and Sewer OPEB Trust Fund. Any questions or discussion on this article?
I would move to place Article 5 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? Harry?
Second, aye?
Whitman, aye.
Mattson, aye.
Ledger, aye.
Make a motion that the Finance Committee recommends favorable action on Article 5.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
The motion made and seconded on
Can I
Article.
ask a question at this?
Good. 1 second. Motion made and seconded. Do we have any questions? Go ahead.
Sorry.
Just try to do it the right way.
So, yeah, sorry, just didn't wanna miss the boat.
No, you're good.
It seems like the balance is equal for the two OPEB funds. Does that make sense relative to the liabilities with the amount of personnel involved?
I would completely agree with you. I would not recommend we increase the water sewer. I think we're there because of, like you said, the amounts are, I think that the water sewer retained earnings could be better using it for water and sewer.
So we can change, I think this goes towards your point of changing maybe the policy. I don't think that we should maybe deviate now, but we can think about, well, you guys can think about updating the policy.
We shouldn't stray from this one, agreed, and then we can take it up.
Do we know what the actuarial report said it should be at?
Specifically, no, I do not for water and sewer, no, but we have, we have very few water and sewer employees compared to the general town.
I get it, I understand that, but those actuarial reports are usually very eye-opening when you read them.
Yeah, let's make sure we have the data, but I think this is an instance where we should look at it, because relative to Harry's previous point.
Yep. Alright, we have a motion made and seconded.
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye.
Tabor, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Ted
Purcell, aye.
and Ross, aye. Okay, thank you.
Moving into Article 6. To see if the town will vote to fix the salaries and compensation of elected town officers for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, other than as voted under Article 4 of the annual town meeting on May 10th, 2025, in such sums set forth below, and to further increase the total fiscal year 2026 operating budget by raising and appropriating $7,825 in accordance with Chapter 41, Section 108 of the general laws as amended, or take any action in relation thereto. So this is essentially requesting to reestablish the stipends for the boards noted, which is the moderator's stipend, select board, board of assessors, board of health, and planning board, for that total amount. Speaking for myself personally, knowing that this is a special town meeting and we had requested our department heads to try and be fiscally conservative with requesting what they needed to get through the fiscal year, the remaining fiscal year, I'm not sure that this is a necessity for this current budget year. So I personally don't know that I'm in favor of moving to place this article.
I guess my feeling is that we go to great lengths to try to make sure our employees are fairly treated. They get their raises, they get their steps where appropriate. And simply because somebody volunteers or is elected for the town, I don't think that makes them less worthy of getting a stipend. So I, for one, am in favor of this.
Where'd you go?
I personally have never been in favor of the stipends. I think the money, it's not a huge portion, huge amount of money, the sum total, but that's money that I think I've always felt could be better utilized in a town that is always looking for the last penny, as FinCom sometimes says. And so I have a real hard time supporting this when I think the work that we as electeds do, I don't want to minimize the work that we as electeds do, but it's not the full-time work that it once was, because we have professional staff to assist in a lot of the day-to-days that we don't need to participate in anymore. And school committee is not on here, obviously, those are regional agreements, but our elected school committee members aren't receiving a stipend, and I personally just have never thought that elected should receive stipends.
I don't take it, so I don't really have any standing on what it is or where it goes. It's something that has been appropriated over the years, and so it's one of the things that you can either accept or refuse, as far as I'm concerned.
So I guess for me, I'm not making a motion to place it. I would rather personally, if we do, I would rather either not have select board recommendation or pull that piece out separately. If the board feels that the community, the voters should, town should be able to make that decision, I'm fine. I would be fine placing it, but I would not feel personally comfortable advocating in favor of it for myself personally.
Well, like you said, I'd like to give the town a chance to make up their mind and see how they feel about it. So, it should be placed on the warrant.
It is.
We don't necessarily have to vote favorable or unfavorable, but we can take a vote on it. But I still think it should go to the town.
Okay. Why don't we separate out the placement versus the recommendation, so I'll entertain a motion to place Article 6 as presented on the warrant.
Second.
Will you make the motion, Karen?
Oh, I thought you were
Sorry,
gonna
no,
make it.
I'm entertaining a motion.
I make a motion that we place Article 6 on the town warrant for the stipends to be reinstituted for those that were taken away on the moderator, select board, board of assessors, board of health, and planning board.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second motion.
All right, any further discussion on the placement? Harry?
Second, aye.
Waitman, aye.
Matt's, pardon me, Matt's and I.
Ledger I. Alright, so I will entertain a motion on a select board recommendation.
I will make a recommendation that the select board vote favorably on Article 6 again, that reinstitutes the stipends for the moderator, select board, board of assessors, board of health, and planning board.
There's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any other discussion? Okay, Harry?
Second, aye.
Waitman, nay.
Ledger nay.
Matt's and I.
Is that a fail?
It fails.
Okay, so
So how does
Is
that go
that-
down?
how did,
Make a there's no
No
recommendation.
recommendation.
No recommendations, the way it goes down?
you, Mr. Ross?
Mr. Shell.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommend favorable action on Article 6.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded on Article 6. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Norwood, nay.
Winnick, nay.
Noig, nay.
Haber, aye.
Mushala, aye.
Purcell, nay.
Ross, nay.
Motion failed.
Is that unfavorable or no?
That was a favorable, so.
That was a not favorable, right?
So we recommended favorable, so we voted
Five
it
of them
down,
voted
so there
no.
would be no
It's not.
recommendation, correct?
So you voted.
No,
Five
rec-
of them voted no.
No.
Yeah,
it's
so it's a,
not recommended.
But is that
No.
equal unfavorable, or is that,
No, you
No
have to make a second motion if you were gonna go unfavorable.
okay,
Right now, there's nothing.
so right now there
Motion
would be
was
nothing.
favorable and you voted no, so
Correct.
it's gone.
So make another motion that if you want it to say unfavorable, you gotta make that motion, or somebody that voted nay should make that motion.
Isn't this what we talked about last week,
Yes.
the way it is?
Yes.
What we said, okay.
I'll make a motion that the finance committee vote unfavorably for Article 6.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. Is anyone in the room want any discussion or online? Just a question, why, if we're gonna, why couldn't we be, there's three options, right? Either favorable, unfavorable, or no action, right? Okay, well, we have a
Then
motion.
I'll revise my motion to do a recommendation.
Second.
Second, okay. Any other discussion on that? All right. So now,
So it is to take no recommendation or no action?
no action.
Okay. Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye.
Benoit, aye.
Favor aye.
Rochelle, nay.
Ted,
Purcell, I.
and Ross is aye. Okay, so no action on that one.
And no recommendation from the select board.
Townspeople decide.
Okay. Just looking at a time check and knowing we're getting into, for articles, 7, which is the FY 26 budget adjustments. Is there any consideration to skipping over this until Alex arrives to, I know this was one he had some comments on. Or do we wanna move forward and discuss this?
I personally have no preference. I mean, I feel, I don't know what Alex's comments were or questions were. I think we had addressed a lot of my concerns in meetings with Donna and staff before the meeting, so, before this meeting. So, but if a majority is comfortable skipping over until Alex arrives, that's fine with me.
I'm okay with that.
Alright, we're gonna skip Article 7, is that alright with you, Darren, for
Yeah.
a moment?
Right,
Okay.
procedurally, it's fine.
Alright, so we'll move into Article 8 to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $1,209 from free cash to construct a secured storage closet for election supplies and equipment, including all other incidental and related expenses, or take any other action in relation thereto. I don't see Anita. Oh, there you are. Yeah, Anita and Ben. Will you?
Ben's really passionate about the storage units. We need it.
So basically our office right now, is holding election equipment in 7 different places around town. So we have stuff at the Naquag Vault, we have stuff here at the library, we have stuff on all 3 floors of the current town hall and the annex building. So we would like an area that we can consolidate it all in that's secure, so we know exactly where everything is, and to have it all together. I mean, to get ready for an election, we're going to 6 different places around town to try to find what we have from an election, a previous election. And for security reasons, we had a safe assessment done with the State Police Office last July, and they recommended kind of keeping everything together, that way there you know where it is and it's in a secure spot all in one. And then having backup areas around town if there was ever a problem with that area. So that's kind of what led us to this area for a storage space.
So the intent is to consolidate all your current 6 locations into this one?
Yes, and then moving around, I mean, obviously, especially secured things like ballots and such would stay in the vaults. This is kind of just for voting booths. We have 29 boxes of vote by mail envelopes currently. We have a dozen tubs just to put ballots in on election day, as well as 6 other tubs to put, big plastic tubs for election day things. Signs, sandwich board signs, there's at least 6 of those. The actual voting booths, there's 16 total, so.
And the area that we're looking at, we already have some items stored there, so.
For me, I don't necessarily have a concern with the request for more storage. My concern is more of the location of the storage. We've already taken away storage or usable space down there for recreation storage because they have no place at all to store anything. I did confirm with the building inspector that the construction of this requested storage space would not reduce the maximum occupancy of the number of people that could be in that lower level. Again, taking into consideration recreation, that especially during their summer fun program, there's a couple of weeks that's the only place that they have to go for inclement weather. And if we're taking up additional space, I believe it was around 300 square feet, that's less space for them to have if they need to be inside. So I do have a concern with the location of where it is and the impact it would have on recreation.
If I may, just 2 points, we already use that area for early voting. And so it's well used. And there is quite a bit of equipment there that, not ours, but items that pretty much should be just tossed, that what I think would free up some more room for rec to, store their items.
Any questions, concerns from the select board?
If I may, I guess just thought is, I think, I don't disagree that there's a benefit to having centralized storage. My concerns are the location space, also, it feels very kind of whimsical that there's a whole lot of different plans for all the different space and nothing is finalized and we just kind of continue to throw storage things at places. And also, it seems many times that we ask that free cash requests are really held for something very urgent or to kind of rectify, this year especially, rectify things. And it seems like oftentimes the town clerk is the only office that's putting in for a lot of extracurriculars or extra items. And so my concern is that the communication to all the departments is received differently. And so are there other departments that also may have had, I'll say incidentals, 1,200 and 1,600 adds up a little bit here and there, and it's consistently. So that's just for a point. I don't disagree that it's a needed there's a benefit to it. We just don't know that the location is the best and the process. Thank you.
Question? Ben, have you looked at other places where to build this?
Yes and no. It's helpful for our office to have at least visibility on it most all the time with all of our equipment kind of being in it.
Okay.
That's kind of was just the ease point, and easy getting it out. It'd be easy to get it out of the building right outside the back door there. We had looked up the upstairs of the building, but then it's, taking
Heavy.
100 things down the stairs when we're getting ready for an election, so.
Okay, and you hold the elections down there, right?
We did hold early voting down there before, but after looking at our totals this November and kind of how it worked down there with the recreation closet that's currently there, that isn't enough room for us to conduct early voting down there. So we will have to look at another option before the upcoming elections next year.
Okay.
Because of the voter turnout and having enough room for them down there wasn't enough, so.
So have you looked at the library?
We have
And
not.
my concern there is you met with the state police who said that this is necessary, correct?
Yes, it was in the report we got from them.
Did they say that having it under your control where you can see it was better than having it somewhere else where you can't see it?
They did kind of stress that it was, our office should have the only access to it. So kind of having it in town hall means that we're pretty much have the only ones access to it. It'd be locked and.
And we do have storage in the library in the back room. When Cable was building this area, they very nicely blocked off a closet, and we have 2 old safes there where we store secure things that can't just be in a locked closet. But the rest of that room is pretty full.
So to clarify, so Ben, you're looking for it to be built down there because number one, it provides easier access, and 2, it provides a level of security that you may not get anywhere else, because you can watch it and be under it. Is that correct? I don't want to assume anything, that's why I'm asking.
Yes, and it'd be the same, if we were to have it here, it'd be the same as now, getting ready for an election, we'd still have to go to all those places to get it. Whereas if it was in our building there, we could just go downstairs and work downstairs and actually get ready for the election down there, rather than going to all the other places around town.
Okay. Does anybody know, does the rec department store any of their stuff here in the library?
I don't think so, but I don't know for sure.
No? Okay. And so the only place they store it is in downstairs. They have no other place, no building, no facility where they store anything. And 10 by 30 is what you're thinking of, or 2 by 15, or, I'm sorry, 300 square feet, you said, right?
It's a continuation of the recreation wall. So from the end of the recreation wall to the end of the building wall.
So you're coming in a few feet. If it's a continuation going this way.
Yes, it's good, yep, against that wall.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I guess for me, when we're talking about stuff involving voting and politics, security to me becomes the utmost importance. And therefore, if it could be built down there, and I know it might cause a little more frustration for recreation for the time that they're busy, but to me, security is most important, so I'd have to say that's a deep consideration for me, having it built there.
If I may, and maybe it's a question, I'm not really sure. The building of it, is that going to then limit the public access to it? Because I know recreation uses it, and then also, I believe, for Memorial Day, the parade, it's a gathering place for the parade participants and the public as well. And I know throughout the year, it's sometimes a community gathering spot, and so having a secure elections closet down there, is that going to preclude the public's access to the space, period?
I don't believe so. I mean, and like I said, we already have some things stored there, so it's not really utilized by anyone else at this time.
If I might, Ben, I understand, so what is the level of security for that? You said it needs to be secure. I would assume that ballots are high risk, confidential, double locked.
We wouldn't plan to put any ballots in there.
Is this does not need to be double locked?
No, it would just have a lock on the door that only we would have access to. That way we're the only ones in and out of there.
Cause that would have been my concern, being in the same place, that you can't double lock it.
Speak of equipment, would the voting machines go in there?
The tabulators themselves are the big box.
Yeah.
The big empty box potentially, but the tabulators, no, they're locked away in our office. And they would stay there.
They would stay in your office?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, along with the
We
poll
kinda,
pads.
I was gonna say, we have like a list, like, we wouldn't put any ballots, no tabulators down there, no poll pads. The most important things that we need would be, locked away in a fireproof, either whether it's our vault or cabinets in the office here. They wouldn't be down there. It's basically for all the other like tables, the voting booths, the somewhat replaceable stuff.
You're still stuck with 3 different spaces, right? One for ballots, one for the tabulator, and then one for all the other stuff.
The tabulators, ballots, and poll pads are all in the same spot,
Okay.
in our office.
Just upstairs.
But the
downstairs.
others are spread out between, we have a vault at the annex, and then we also have a large vault at Naquag.
Which at this point you can't walk in them now. So we have, several permanent records in there that, when the treasurer collector needs a box from the back, we have to take everything out of the vault because you can't take 2 steps in the vault at Naquag because of all the voting equipment there, and the closet here is full. And
So some of the stuff that's in there will be moved to the proposed new spot?
yes, the stuff from the vault, the voting booths and the tables and equipment.
From the vault?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were hoping that some things like assessor permanent records, there's quite a few of those already stored at the Naquag vault. And the assessor has a lot that are upstairs in the main hall, that it would be good to have all of their records in one location.
So I guess for me, just even knowing something like that, it makes me not want to rush into this even more, like we need to take a look at what we need storage capacity for and come up with a better plan and not piecemeal storage closets where we have a corner available. It just seems like we just need to look at it from a little bit of a higher level and come up with a better plan and potentially move some bigger things around if necessary.
We do have a real need for both permanent and short-term storage. A lot of accounting has, and in the treasurer collector's office, they have to keep things for 7 years, but then they can be moved out. And again, not that anything, most of the things up in the town hall upstairs, there aren't social security numbers or anything, and most of it would be public record. It's still not housed how it should be, so.
I guess, I still think that our clerk in that department and the state, if they're concerned about the security for that stuff, for our voting stuff, I don't think we can wait 6 months, a year, 3 years to figure out where we're gonna build a big facility to store everything and who's got keys and locks to it. So for me, this is something that should be done right away.
Alani?
When I made a comment the last time, I said, there was nothing else that I should be saying, so, okay. So at this point in time, I will say, okay, we tried to do something like this some years ago, and there's been other attempts at different thoughts about it too along the way, and so, okay, so at this point in time, we have to go with what we have presented to us, I believe.
Well, I'm through.
Is this
You guys wanna discuss it, or we vote first?
is this one where we wanna split out the placement versus
I think
recommendation again?
I would appreciate that, I think.
I would just like to see us do the whole thing. If we recommend, fine. If we don't, it's still gonna go before the town. Even if we don't recommend, it can still go in the warrant.
That's why we're talking about doing separate motions for it.
Okay.
You gotta place it first.
Yeah.
You gotta
to place
place it.
first.
All right.
So I would move to place Article 8 as presented.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Alright, Harry,
Second, aye.
Whitman, aye.
That's it.
Ledger, aye.
Abstain.
Oh,
Came
I
in
forgot you're
late.
here. Sorry, Alex.
I didn't hear
Come
the
over
full
here.
conversation, so that's okay. I'll abstain on that one. I think I get it, but I think I missed quite a bit there, so it's okay. Doesn't make a difference, so.
Alright, so we have Article 8 placed. Is there a motion for a recommendation from the select board?
I make a motion, we vote favorably on Article 8 to transfer $1,209 from free cash to construct a secured storage closet for election supplies and equipment.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second the motion.
Any other discussion? Harry?
Second, aye.
Whitman, aye.
That's it.
Moet, aye.
Ledger, nay.
Tom?
Make a motion that the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 8.
What?
It passed.
Second.
Passed. Okay. Favorable.
Do we have any discussion? We have a motion made and seconded.
I'm sorry, I missed who seconded. Thanks, Lindsay.
Ms. Narrow.
Norwold, aye.
Winika, aye.
Benoit, aye.
Hey, Brian.
Rochelle, aye.
Ted? He's gone.
I don't see him.
Ross, aye. Okay,
Alright, we have Alex here, so we wanna go back to Article 7. Alright, Article 7, to see if the town will vote to amend the votes taken under Articles 4 and 9 of the annual town meeting on May 10th, 2025, appropriating the fiscal year 2026 operating budget for the town and the fiscal year 2026 assessment for the Wachusett Regional School District by decreasing the amount set forth below and to further increase the total fiscal year 2026 operating budget by raising and appropriating the sum of $407,145 and by transferring the sum of $120,088 from free cash and appropriate such funds as follows. I won't read the chart, y'all have it right in front of you. Are there any questions from the select board?
Yes, I understand, if I may through the chair, I understand general government, public safety, Wachusett, and public works. What I don't understand is human services, so could somebody explain that one to me? Why we're increasing nearly $40,000 for that?
Please.
Okay. Human Services encompasses Board of Health, Council on Aging, Veterans Services, and Library. So that's the money that's being, through free cash is the, the chart.
Okay, so that has nothing to do with a human resource hire person?
No, it's just a categorize a bunch of groups within the town budget, that's all.
Thank you.
Yep.
I know there was some question on the amount to raise and appropriate versus use as free cash, so Seth did provide the chart here with some different options. Where we're at the current presentation at 94%, there's a 90% and an 87% as well, and what that would look like.
Proportionally. Through the chair. The 87% is pretty much the rough number that we had estimated that we brought to the annual town meeting. That's what that number is.
And if I may, through the chair, I think I had asked this in a few different meetings, Donna, for this current year, for this, the remaining fiscal year 26, you are okay signing off on the 94% as presented. It's not it's definitely not best practice going forward, and so next year would look wholly different, knowing that we have what we have in free cash this year and everything also. And is that a correct statement? I don't wanna put you on the hook for anything, but I think also, and I think I said this in the meeting previously, in a year that we have had a healthy free cash return for a whole lot of reasons, I think raising and appropriating to a point that we're probably not going to have much free cash cleared through any line items might be a thing to do.
So yes, I appreciate your concern for me, and so yes, I've said I'm comfortable signing this, but yes, I don't think it's not what we went to annual town meeting because one, we didn't know exactly what the revenues would come in at, and because the year had closed. And additionally, it's not the best scenario, but if this is what's, so it's a policy decision between the finance committee and the selectmen at this point as to which way to go. None of us have a crystal ball as to knowing which is the best way. I think we all just you have to go by your gut tonight as to which scenario to use.
Thank you. May I ask, do you have a question?
Well, just a follow-up to that, you said it's not the best policy. I'm assuming you mean more so it's not the best, way to go about doing it.
Yeah, maybe policy wasn't the best word to use.
That's okay, I just wanna understand what that meant.
No, I mean, we don't have a written policy on this, so, but you could deviate from a policy. It's not how I would recommend. While preparing the budget for 27, I wouldn't recommend these high numbers while we were working through the budget. Because it's always much harder to take away after you've given a budget than to give. And so this is what we're doing, we're trying to restore, and this is an option to do that. if we had estimated these numbers for the May meeting and they came in at the 87%, but that was, you know what I'm trying to say, we would then be asking our department heads to reduce their budgets, and that's not where we want to be. Does that help? Not a better explanation?
Yeah, I mean, so you're saying the previous line was budgeted conservatively, and now we have less reason to believe it'll be so conservative?
So yes and no. So certainly it was conservative when we went to town meeting in May, but in May, I could have only given you what April's revenue was, and you finalized the budget in April. I could have only given you what was March, and it's an ever-changing amount, you know, and there are a number of revenue that comes in just June that we may not, I could not tell you in May that was a guarantee.
So, how much generally, and I don't know who could answer this, or if anyone can, how much generally speaking of the local receipts dollars is reoccurring versus one time? Do we know?
It's all recurring, it's all recurring, but it doesn't necessarily stay the same every year. Local revenue is all recurring. Every year, you're gonna have a portion of everything in those line items.
Does like building permits not go into local receipts?
So that's recurring, so they do, I guess I'm not understanding your question then,
Okay,
Alex.
well, so like a building permit wouldn't be a reoccurring because you take out a building permit, that's a one-time thing. Whereas like a personal property tax, you pay every year, right? So that's what I'm saying, reoccurring versus one time.
I think we have the revenue, so you'd have the building permit revenue, it just is gonna be variable based on how many permits are.
Well, that's his question.
That's my question.
And
That's
we're
exactly what
not
I'm
gonna
saying.
know what that is from year to year.
Right, so I'm saying like
And same
if
with excise tax, sorry, later.
half of this is, well, excise tax, but excise tax is a little bit more.
Actually, it's not, our excise tax last year increased about $150,000 over the year before, but it didn't the year before. So that one can fluctuate as much as building permits. So I don't have a crystal ball to say whether or not next year will increase or not. I have not seen in Rutland in the last 5 years, doing a 5-year comparison, that excise has decreased. But there have been years it's only increased 35,000, and then years it's increased 125,000.
And those numbers are in here.
Yeah.
Yes. I think what would, my recommendation is to take the middle road here. I think that would be better, and then we would have less of a chance of having a revenue deficit, which we wouldn't want to have. These estimates that, knowing now that we have such an amount of free cash, I think it would be wise to consider the middle road.
So you're looking at the 90%, the 90%.
May I ask what the finance committee's discussion was, or?
We didn't, when we discussed it, we weren't sure which direction you guys were gonna go.
No,
Now,
I don't think, we didn't have this,
we
didn't have percentage.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they just did that.
Yeah, so that,
we
we
didn't know
could have had
which,
maybe a
right.
deeper conversation.
Right. The finance committee was there was several of them that we had to wait to see what you guys were gonna do before we could really react to it, and this was one of them, so. You guys can.
I think for me personally, I agree with Donna, kind of going the middle of the road. To me, it seems a little risky going up to that 94%.
Does anyone on the finance committee have an opinion or would like to offer an opinion on this?
I think we're far enough along in the year that we can go with the 94%.
I'd rather go lower. Me too.
if I don't wanna step on finance committee's conversation, so but I do have I guess.
It's a joint meeting, let's make it a joint conversation.
I didn't know what they were gonna do.
No, I understand that, but I thought a general consensus or a general thought was, well, I'm,
If I may, I would rather budget conservatively and have opportunities for free cash to, if we were able to then dedicate that free cash to things that free cash should be and not a continual revenue resource. However, in a year like this where we had a healthy free cash return, I wonder if from a conversation perspective in the community, if it's better to either use that free cash in the budget to the 90 or 87% question, or budget tight so that there's less free cash cleared next year. And I guess that's a conversation, you know, if we budget towards 94%, I'm fairly none of us have crystal balls, but I would hope that we don't run into the shortage, but that then we would have little clearing because everything is budgeted so tightly. And so I personally, from a personal perspective, would rather budget conservatively and go that route. But I guess from a conversation piece.
If I may, we just replenished all the stabilization funds, right? And we're partway through the year. We have visibility in terms of revenue. We've seen it for several months now. So that's why I'm comfortable with the 94%. Even if there were to be some kind of a small shortfall, it is able to be covered by the fact that we've already replenished these funds through the previous articles, assuming they pass.
Through the chair.
I would just push back a little bit. We haven't replenished. We've put some money away, but replenish, in my estimation, is everything that you need is there. And looking at the capital stabilization is less than 400,000. I'd rather see some of the free cash go, you know, if we wanna dice things up, we've already placed things, but maybe next time we put more money into the free capital stabilization, those kind of things. So it's just a word, it's.
Yeah, I meant replenish because we took some out, right? So
Correct, so I
we
guess I look at that
replenish
as a
what we
bare
didn't-
minimum.
we replenish what we didn't put in at the annual town meeting.
Correct.
Restored.
is it enough in there that's up to
Yeah, I guess you're right,
Restored,
restored,
yes,
right?
and
Restored.
we did replenish it, but not all up to where it was supposed to be.
But I guess, and unless someone on the finance committee has a different opinion, you guys gotta figure out which way you wanna go. And we'll take a vote from there.
Through the chair. I have a question, I don't know if this is for you or for Seth. We've got a lot of people listening here are gonna say on the meeting or are gonna listen to it afterwards. So there are three big numbers here, two big numbers here. So I'd like to kind of quantify for the citizens who will be listening. Does any of this money affect the amount that you gave us for stabilization of $1,514,399? If we do this, is that what the stabilization number will be?
That is what it will be.
It will be, okay. And two, how much do we now, if we spend this $120,000 from free cash and everything else we're doing, what will we have left in free cash?
1.2 million,
1.2 mil, okay.
or thereabouts.
And would you explain to the citizens where that $407,000, 145 is coming from on raise and appropriate?
That's a Donna question.
It's local revenue, so local revenue, we're estimating it a little bit higher. Because of what came in through June 30th of fiscal 2025.
Okay, so it's local revenue, it's not new taxes, because I know I'm gonna get asked that question.
Yes, it is not
When
new
you raise and
taxes.
appropriate, it's gonna be new taxes, no.
It is not new
Okay,
taxes.
so those who are listening, no.
it's an updated estimate.
Huh?
It's an updated estimate.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So we're now, I guess I would ask that, Seth, do you have a preference on which way we go? I mean, you're in the thick of this all the time, would you?
I would recommend the 90%. I think Donna was very gracious to, put herself out there at the 94 to try to, show what the potential would be, available. But again, that number came prior to the free cash being certified. So now that we know what that is, I think you could balance the two. At the 90%, the raise and appropriate through local receipts would be 260,000 increase, and an additional 267,000 of free cash would be used. The bottom number going into the line items would stay the same, but the where the money is coming from, what buckets, would just vary a little bit. So,
And if I may piggyback on just what you said, if I may, that if we did the 90% with the free cash being the 267, that would leave about 1.1-ish
Correct.
million in
Yep.
free cash versus 1.2.
Yep.
Just so.
correct. Whatever you vote, I'll make the change and I'll give you that number right away.
So my question would be is with what was used last year to balance the budget with free cash, plus this 90%, what would be the total amount of free cash that was used
To balance
to
budget.
make the balance?
1 million.
Okay. That's a lot of money, guys. Structural deficit.
I think the main point is like you can say that you're not gonna spend to the 94%, but we are.
We're gonna spend we're gonna spend the expense to the 94% no matter what. Well, I shouldn't say that, as long as this gets voted through, as long as Article 7
But
gets voted.
that's why it's sort of like robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? Like you have a problem. Karen's absolutely right.
This is one-time funds.
Yep.
And I know a good portion of this select board was all over the finance committee. We should not use free cash. And now we're using $1 million in free cash. Which is the most I believe we've ever used in free cash. So.
And that still leaves us with 1.2, Seth?
Give me a second, I'll tell you.
Well, I guess the overarching question there is, and what everyone should be asking is what we're doing with the $1.2 million in free cash that we have sitting. I mean, the question I feel like any citizen thinking about this is saying, why aren't we putting the free cash towards what's needed and lowering the tax rate to offset the difference? Why are we not using the free cash that we now have through this that we overtaxed? I know that's not really what happened, right? But in people's minds, that's what they're thinking, that's what they're seeing.
Are we presenting a sort of history of where the free cash came from?
If I may, I was gonna just piggyback and say I think that's a dangerous statement to say that it's because we overtaxed, because I think we've had that analysis done from Donna as well as previous iterations that it's often about 50-50 as the amount of revenue received in outside of local receipts is because state aid and a whole lot of other things has increased and local receipts have increased and departments haven't necessarily utilized their full line items for a variety of reasons, whether there's some staffing considerations or whatever, there's grant reimbursements that come in. So I think that to your point, Ludwig, continuing to have that conversation of how free cash is accomplished and realized is a huge need to.
So that's what it's gonna feel like regardless.
So I just to clarify, everything you just said to me sounds like overtaxed.
Correct.
I'm not being mean here, but everything that just screamed over, and I'm one who thinks that taxation is okay, which is abnormal, I get that. But even I think that sounded like we're overtaxing. Because everything you just said are the what we're taxing and allocating towards the departments, they're not using it all, which means that they don't need it.
But you-
Right, so we're taxing for what's not needed. I get it, I get where you're coming from, and I have the same argument as a finance person, I make those same arguments. But that sounded like we're overtaxing.
Well, no matter where you go with this, John Q. Public says we're 1.2.
Right, the
I don't care
public
what
paid
anybody-
more in
we can-
taxes than we ended up using, however we look at that, however the
Sugarcoat it
explanation is.
anyway, we're
Yes,
1.2.
100%.
Right.
It doesn't matter, it's the fact that we have more money than we needed to run our town, and therefore we overtaxed.
What is the recommended percentage of the budget that we should have in free cash? I think this is another piece of communication that needs to go out there. We should be conservative in our estimates by 5 to 7%, right?
I think it's 7 to 10, there was.
7 to
7 to 10 is a
10%.
healthy
So if
return.
you take our overall budget and you take 7 to 10%, that is that $1 million type number.
A 2.5 to 3 million free cash is a healthy
So it's
community
like if you're budgeting on
for
100.
our size community.
Is that free cash, or is that free cash and capital
That's free
stabilization?
cash. That's free cash
just
returned
free
each
cash.
year
Yeah, that's yours.
So
What
7 to
do they
10%.
expect us to use that for?
for this purpose. To basically for capital, for steps,
Isn't that what capital stabilization is for?
but you need the free cash
That's
to,
how you fund
that's how
it,
you
to
fund
fund
it.
it.
That's how you fund it.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
so,
We would move it into that.
Yes.
yeah.
in case you're off at some point, right?
Right.
Because you're estimating conservative, so,
So it's a way of funding our savings accounts.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
so
But-
if you're,
But we gotta fund the let's make everything clear, you have to fund that savings account. And we don't necessarily
We don't,
do that because of the priorities at the time, right? So,
we don't fund it on the front end, we fund it on the back end.
correct.
But then even more to Carol's point, which she just said, I'd like to have put more in. If we have 1.2 million in free cash that we're not going to use for this purpose, why didn't we put more in? If we should be, if we should be doing that, and that's the correct thing to do, why are we leaving it in free cash and not using it towards something and
But if, I think I had asked that question also, whether we put it in general stabilization or capital stabilization so that the money can work differently for us. And some of the conversation was if it stays in, I believe, if it stays in the general fund, then we can use the interest generated from the general fund as general fund revenue versus if it's in one of the stabilizations, we have to vote to move it out.
And the interest stays in that
additional
stabilization account.
flexibility.
Right.
So, I mean, to take it back to John tax, if you're on $100,000 budget, you make $100,000, what the town is doing by having $1 million in free cash is essentially saying like, I'm gonna put away 7 to 10,000 of that. I think that's reasonable. I think most people would say, okay, that's healthy. I mean, it's $1 million, it's a bunch of money. But at the same time, like relative to what a household would do, it's not an unreasonable savings rate.
except for people retire, towns don't. So, yes, but there's never a point where the town shouldn't be making money. And that's what saving for a household is theoretically. I mean, for emergencies, but
Well, that's,
also.
and that's the thing, the emergency for a household that's making $100,000 is maybe on the order of that. Our emergencies are on the order of $1 million, potentially. So we gotta be ready for it.
I just think we should have a discussion about where this money goes for the future instead of if it's in the capital stabilization fund or places that are, and I know we have to vote to get it out of there, but sometimes that's a good thing. So,
If I may though, that's separate conversation, so
it
we need
absolutely is, but it
determine
pertains
which,
exactly to this
how
though.
much of the free cash are we looking,
Well,
would we
we're-
like to use towards
You,
the FY
let's,
26 budget?
let's say that, the finance committee, I'm gonna speak for the group, that we're gonna wait until you guys make a recommendation.
So if I may, it sounds like from the conversation that we've had here, and I don't wanna, am I correct in assuming that based on staff recommendations from Donna as well as Seth, in the conversation here, the majority is feeling comfortable with the 90% numbers, that middle line, is that, because I would make the motion to adjust Article 7 utilizing the 90% numbers.
That would certainly be, I would be in favor of that.
Is that, and Donna and Seth, you're more comfortable with that number?
You just allow Donna and I to make
Right.
the adjustment to the line items
Yeah.
accordingly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have any,
No,
are you
I'm all
comfortable
set.
with that, Paul?
I'm agreeing with.
So I would move to place Article 7 amended with the 90% numbers presented to us in the chart, and allow Seth and Donna to adjust the line items accordingly.
Second.
And just for public, that would be raise and appropriate of $260,087 and free cash of $267,146. For a total of, all the totals were $527,233. I just wanted that for the public.
Does that change the remaining balance in free cash, decreasing it by roughly $100,000? Is that
So
right?
right now, we're at $1,053,000.
After that change?
If the remaining articles were to pass. Yep. So at the end of the night, I'll give you the final total.
Alright, so we have a motion, so
I second it.
Oh, second for Alex. Any other discussion from the select board? Alright, Harry?
Second, I.
Whitman, aye.
Nurse and I.
Vote aye.
Ledger, aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Seth and
Thank
Donna,
you.
for putting this together and for the conversation.
What was
Did
the
we-
place, right?
That was motion to place.
Place, okay.
I would make a motion for select
Oops.
board favorable recommendation on this article.
There's a motion,
Second.
is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion?
Second, I.
Whitman, aye.
Alex and I.
Vote aye.
Ledger, aye. Thank you. Sorry.
So you want to refer to these numbers?
That's what Dave recommended, so
So,
that's
okay,
what we
so
would.
I'd make a motion that we recommend favorable action on the numbers just presented,
The 90% numbers.
the 90% numbers presented.
Second.
Do we have any discussion on that?
Seth just left. I'm wondering what percentage this new 90% is going to adjust these
Yes.
numbers.
And that
What were these numbers?
That was the 94,
It was 90.
I'm pretty sure.
It was 94, yes.
Yeah.
And I wanna just remind everybody that $800,000 of the free cash were going back 3 years for dispatch. So that's not gonna come our way again.
Which is why I think it's good to provide a complete accounting for how that was generated.
Oh, absolutely,
Mhm.
cause that's gonna be a question.
Yes, definitely.
Any more discussion? Alright, we'll take a roll call vote. Ms. Narwhal.
Narwhal, nay?
Winnick, nay.
Benoit, nay.
Favor aye.
Kushala, aye.
Ted
Purcell, I.
and Ross, aye. Motion carries. Alright,
Alright, we'll get our department heads out of here, sorry, thank you for your patience. Article 9, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $1,600 from free cash to bind and preserve town meeting warrant and minutes from the annual and special town meetings between October 1987 and December 2025, including all other incidental and related expenses, or take any other action in relation thereto. So this is something that comes up every couple of years. Ben and Anita, did we just have one? Was it for a different chunk of time?
It wasn't meeting minutes and warrants. What
Okay.
we've done in the past, we have red binders with protective sleeves that we do all of our vital records.
Okay,
And we found street lists and town meeting, town reports. And that was a couple of years ago, but.
is this something that should be built into a budget?
Well, yeah, and as a matter of fact, we're proposing to add another line item, like a preservation line item, so that, we don't wait so long. We've kept up with the others, but one of the reasons why this has not been updated since 1987 is because all the minutes and warrants are always stored in an individual folder in our locked safes and they're fireproof. But to put it together, we've talked a lot about whether we should keep doing it the way that's been done in the past. And what it is they take the warrants and then they back the minutes for the same meeting onto each other. And but preserving the original like select board signatures. And that's the way they've always done it through like 11 volumes. It starts in like from the time we started having town meetings, believe it or not. And this is, we've been monopolizing the copier machine, but this is just 2014 through, well, the end of this year after we have the other. We've got two more that are this size. When I talked to the woman about binding, this is pretty similar to what we've done in the past. And so we estimated between 3 and 4 volumes, depending on what she thinks, is better. But so it'll be really good. So we wouldn't have to spend this much money keeping up with it. But from now on, I would think it would be pretty much. This one would only, every 10 years maybe, unless we were binding it in a smaller version. So, and I brought this just because this is an example of the years 1895 to 1949. And so besides, you can look up any town warrant and the minutes are on the back side. Any Attorney General approval for zoning or general bylaw changes are included in here, so it's another spot to look. And town clerks in the past have indexed, every town meeting action. And we've taken these and put them on a computer, but we still retain this. So, and some of the last couple of companies that we've used for binding our town reports and in particular our street lists, we haven't been happy with. But we recently found who I think is going to be an excellent source in the Brookfield. So we're planning to go visit her shortly and see what we can do.
Any other questions or comments on Article 9 for the select board?
My comment similar to the one before is just the town clerk's office putting in for free cash when other departments didn't. I don't, again, disagree with the need, the value for it, but I guess it's more of a process thing.
If there's no other discussion, I will entertain a motion to place Article 9 and recommend favorable action as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any other discussion?
So that one you just did all together?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how we were doing them, unless there was
Yeah,
like
unless there was
request to pull them out.
Oh, okay, I just, yep.
And
Yeah, we
it's,
did it that way until a little contentious, and then they decided that,
Till I got here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Once you got here, everything's smooth right out, big guy, cause you're the best.
Aw. Alright, we have a motion and a second, roll call, Harry.
Second, aye.
Whitman, I.
Matt's and I.
Ledger I.
Mr. Shell.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 9.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to recommend favorable action on item 9. Does anyone have any discussion? Ms. Narwhal.
Narwhal, aye. Winika, aye.
Mr. Haber.
Oh, Haber, I keep thinking,
Aye.
he's-
Ted.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye.
I wasn't crawling under the desk.
Oh, come on, I wanna see that.
Okay.
Alright, Article 10, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $34,647 from free cash to fund the salary for an additional full-time police officer effective January 1st, 2026, or take any other action in relation thereto. Monica, anything you wanna add? I know this was something that came up at our previous annual budget discussions.
Yes, please. Good evening, Nick Monaco, Police Chief. I'm accompanied by Lieutenant Dan Collins tonight. We are seeking funding for an additional police officer position. This is the same position we sought funding for in the this this year's budget, but was ultimately cut. This is not a position that I'm looking to fill out of convenience or because it would be great to have. This is an absolute necessity. We are extremely busy, we are understaffed, and the particular problem that we're running into is that because of our staffing level, the police detective is included in the patrol rotation, effectively taking her away from hours and hours and hours of investigatory time that she should be dedicating to cases. The graphics I put in front of you are just two little things I want you to take a look at. The top left, that's arrests and summonses compared from year-to-date 2024 to 2025. You can see through October 23rd of last year, we had 219 arrests and criminal summonses. Year-to-date this year, we are 160 more at 379. Incident reports, that's just a coverall for anything non-criminal or criminal cases that don't result in a court charge. 379 incidents compared to 423 incidents completed this year. And then just a quick snapshot at staffing levels. I know this came up at the last joint meeting where we proposed this before. There's not a recommended police staffing level, but there are averages. The FBI put out a report every couple of years, and their national average for police staffing per capita is 2.3 officers per 1,000 people. Okay, so that's the nationwide average. The New England average is 2.8 officers per 1,000 people. You see, we're not doing so well in the Wachusett region. Throughout all the Wachusett towns, we're at 1.75. And in Rutland, we're at 1.55 officers per 1,000 people. Adding that additional position will put us at 1.6. So still, I'm not asking you to make us the most highest staffed police department around. I'm looking to get a little bit less below average. And getting that additional position will help us operate efficiently and give people the level of police services that they deserve in a community this size. I brought Lieutenant Collins with me, and he's going to give you a little rundown on some of the major cases that we've worked on in the past year or so.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dan Collins, Lieutenant with the Police Department. One of my many duties is to supervise the detective division. We have one detective in there now. Her name's Cassandra D'Souza. Unfortunately, as the chief mentioned, she's only really a part-time detective, so that ends up, a lot of that falls onto me. People ask, like, what actually happens in Rutland. So some of the more serious cases that I'm sure some of you have heard of, maybe some of you haven't this year. So this year we had an attempted murder. It was an organized hit. That warrants were obtained for that. We had just the cases we're working now. We have a $980,000 theft of gold from an elderly person in town. We were ravaged by a gang named the Felony Lane Gang that's from Florida. They came up here. Our guys were good enough to the detective division that we actually have warrants for multiple of them. That's being handled by the FBI now, but they're still running around. We seized $120,000 in cryptocurrency from, we found victims in 8 states in Canada that we were able to return all those funds to. Right now, we have a gentleman posing as a CPA that we're trying to investigate with the IRS who's doing fraudulent tax returns on our citizens. We've had several motor vehicle breaks. Luckily, through DNA and forensic evidence recently at the state park, we were able to put out nationwide warrants for the suspects. We've had multiple stolen motorcycles, dirt bikes, and electric bikes. We just recently, Cassandra and I executed a search warrant on a house that someone had overdosed in recently, and we began a drug investigation. It's very time consuming for us. Unfortunately, in town, we had an elder abuse case that did make the news that ultimately was from a brothel, from a massage parlor where sexual services were being sold. We were able to solve that. We're also now dealing with a lottery scam that has $165,000 from one victim. This is all being handled by someone that does this 20 hours a week. That's incredibly low. Hiring this position doesn't even it does more than making her full-time. So rather than taking her out of 20 hours a week and letting her focus 40 hours on it, we can then backfill her spot. So some patrolman can now do what she does. So just think about it like this. For this sum of money, instead of having 20 hours a week of police detective coverage, you have 60. And if for some reason she leaves, something happens, your next detective will already be trained. Because that's part of the transitional progress. I was the previous detective before Cassandra, and I trained her. She's a very bright girl. Having the next person lined up, it's not a bad thing to do. So that's all I have, guys. Thank you for.
Are you still gonna be involved in it?
I will still supervise the unit.
One more thing to add, so like he mentioned, taking her out of that patrol rotation. Patrol rotation right now for her position is a 4 on, 2 off, 2 of those are evenings, 2 of them are days. That detective position will become a Monday through Friday, like 8-hour day. So effectively, she's going to be working more hours in that position. In addition to what she's already working, plus, like you said, somebody else backfilling behind her getting trained, so.
To add just a little further to that as well, so if we backfill her position, which I believe is our plan with another officer that will be a hybrid patrol and detective as she is now, that also gives you more shift coverage for detectives as well. So when you have a lot of your people that we notice, they come in and report their crimes after work. You know, we probably have 15 to 20 credit card fraud cases right now. And they come in after work because they work 9 to 5, and then she might not be there. Now we will have coverage on a second shift that will provide a greater opportunity for our citizens to actually deal with a detective initially, not have to pull a patrol officer off the street that could be trying to prevent accidents in an intersection or dealing with a traffic complaint or whatever they're into at the time.
Through the chair, Chief, there were multiple departments around town that had money taken from their budgets, either without their knowledge or consent. Was this one of those cases last year?
No, I was fully informed that this was getting cut on this one, so.
And you weren't in favor of it?
No.
For the record?
Correct.
Thank you. That's all I want to
It's
hear.
just, my job is to advocate for public safety in this department, and this is a necessity, so I'm back.
Thank you. You're doing a good job.
Through the chair. Real quick question, Chief, Lieutenant, if you can answer it too. When you start investigating something, do these individuals go to jail? I guess what I'm gonna say is, you start investigating, does that mean that these people are still out on the street because our time frame doesn't allow us to process it quickly to get them off the street, so they're still out there?
Correct.
Okay.
Depending on what you're looking at, it's an incredible amount of time for certain things. Like, for example, I didn't touch on it, I'm not gonna touch in depth because of the victims of just the amount of sexual assaults that we've been investigating, and we've been on the news multiple times on Fox for that stuff. The amount of hours into a sexual assault is probably about 100. I've investigated more than 20 in my career. So if you look at 100 hours, if you take a person and she works 2,000 hours a year and 1,000 of it's on detectives, 10% of her hours a year go to one sexual assault. We probably had 5 or 6 this year. So to answer your question, yeah, they're very time consuming. Like, for example, we just solved the case where a bunch of cars in our residence were broken into by a group of people from New Jersey. They're just traveling thieves. And like, to have that car processed, for her to process the car, pull the fingerprints, pull the DNA, submit the fingerprints to Worcester, but the DNA actually goes to a different place, and then to write search warrants for that stuff, you're talking an incredible amount of time. So yeah, if someone calls in sick, or if whatever she has to handle patrol that day, that just gets pushed off for whatever period of time. Because obviously if we have a fatal motor vehicle accident or domestic in progress, it takes precedent over this crime because it's not occurring in progress.
Wow, okay, thanks.
One of the finance committee members has a question. Go ahead, Ted.
Thank you. Chief, I am wondering if we end up paying some chunk of this money through overtime hours to cover the position that is not filled anyway. I hope that question makes sense.
So instead of filling the position using more overtime?
No, are you already incurring some of these costs because you have to issue more overtime?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Love the idea, so this is just financial. If the detective is not gonna be working 40 hours, so now there's 20 hours that need to be covered, that can't be, we're not getting 60 hours for 40, right? We're still needing 60 hours, so somebody's covering now those 20 hours that worked.
Out there.
I think what the lieutenant was referring to is that she's going to be 40 hours dedicated to detective work. This new position, or whoever bids on that position, will be placed into that 4 and 2 rotation. So I think that just meaning that person can then take part of their duties and put them towards assisting with the detective duties.
So where are the benefits for this position coming from? Because they're not in a salary.
Right. So
So
I
that's another
talked
line.
with the town administrator's office, and I know that the town administrator's position, nobody's paid benefits to that position. It will be at least 6 months before anybody in that position gets benefits, so there's already at least 6 months of benefit costs available for that.
So I guess the other thing is this pretty much forces this, if this gets approved, it forces us to have another position next year, and now the health benefits and all the other benefits, that's going to be in the next budget. So that's one of my, and we don't want to use free cash, or I guess we're not using free cash for it, so maybe I'm not accurate, because we're gonna raise and appropriate with local revenue.
It's free cash.
It's free cash.
It is free cash.
It's free
Well,
cash.
At the end of the day, it's kind of all
Yeah.
mushed around.
Chief, what was your recommendation that got taken out of your budget? How much money was it?
It would have been double what I put in the article.
It would have been 69.3.
6 months.
Good for a
12
year?
months.
Yes.
That's a year.
That's
salary
6
and-
months.
That was just the
That's 6
salary.
months salary.
No, but that's, no, where I'm going.
69.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're talking
Is
is
a
full
paid
budget,
salary for the year.
not just the salary for this person,
Yeah, but it's that doesn't include benefits,
right now.
so it's like $100,000, probably.
For next year, yes.
Okay, I'm not, I'm just, it is what it is, we need a person, so.
And that's how I say, it's just financial picture.
I just,
Asking
let's make it,
questions.
put it out there, it's gonna be $100,000, give or take a little bit to make an adjustment, and if this is what it is, someone else can take a bite, we need police.
We're certainly committing to the $100,000 next year if we're doing this.
Well, and I'm gonna just speak for a second, I happen to see Lieutenant Dan around town or have a coffee with him or something, and, you know, he tells me what's going on, and I'm shocked that this is, the general John Q. public doesn't know about it, and I'm very glad that the police is handling it, and that we don't have to listen to it, and we're not on Fox News every night, so.
It wasn't argumentative.
No,
It
I'm
was
just, no,
looking at the financial
it's
picture.
just there making a statement that I think I am 100% in favor of, doing whatever we can do to keep our little Rutland safe, that's all.
If I may through the chair, I support this, I supported it in the original budget as well. But I think that Darren, to your point, that this needs to be communicated to the public, that this is ultimately something that we in this room potentially feel is important for town, and the townspeople generally feel public safety as a whole is important to town. But that comes at a cost, and so approving this year is essentially adding $100,000 to our expense line next year, and that when we're already using, to Karen's point earlier, over $1 million in free cash as a one-time revenue source to fund the budget also. So it's again creating a larger structural deficit if we're not willing to have any conversation of increasing revenue. And so I fully support it, but I think that to put it out there that
We have to be transparent about it, but it's, in my view, it's one of those things we need, and that's Darren's view.
I agree. I have reservations about utilizing free cash right now to fund it. However, that being said, come our FY '27 budget, we're gonna have the documentation that states this is gonna be a new request, because this is a free cash to fund it for the rest of this year. We're gonna have appropriate documentation to go back to our residents to say, we need this funding, this is why, this is the addition, and be able to present it to them. And again, it's gonna be up to the residents to decide one way or the other if they're willing to pay for that, but I think it might, if we start here, hopefully we'll have data maybe come our upcoming budget season to show how much benefit it is. If it were to pass, how much more it's been able to aid the department with doing what we need to.
And just one more point, if if this is approved, if we get this position, could likely result in reduced overtime. With
Which
the-
is, I think, what
Right,
Ted's
right, right.
point, so
Yeah,
it
so
could
I'm just saying that may even,
even out.
not even it out, but it may weigh it one way more than, and there's no guarantee that a new person even gets on our health insurance. You know, they could be on mom and dad still for a while, or you know,
Or
or
a
a
spouse that
spouse.
has better.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul. Through the chair. These numbers that I look at are nice, 1.4, 2.5, but they don't really boil down to personnel, down to the human part. How many police would you need, how many more, to be, quote, fully staffed to FBI statistics?
Oh, to the I'd need a calculator to do that, but I probably need at least 5 or 6.
New England or FBI?
To the FBI one.
The FBI. Okay, so we're like 9,700.
Cause it's 23 total.
Okay, so
Way more than we're gonna be able to.
23
Yeah.
total, so
Right.
everybody else minus
And my
23.
point in that is, yeah, we're that many down, by not filling this position is making it real tough for the town to feel safe if we can't get this done. Or the town can't get it done. So I'm definitely in favor of it.
So then I would, oh, go ahead, Paul.
Okay. Listening to the lieutenant's comments, it brings into light, as far as I'm concerned, just what they're doing with what they have. And adding this number of one person to the department is going to give them a little bit more flexibility. And so, you know, these are the types of things that we've probably got to look at. And as the chief just mentioned, adding 5 or 6 more officers would get him up to the level that he feels that would be necessary to hold the town accountable for itself. So, you know, it's one of these things that what we're looking at right now for one officer, I think is, you know, a step in the right direction, absolutely.
So then I would move to place Article 10 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Okay, Harry,
Second, aye.
Whitman, aye.
That's what I.
Ledger, aye.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 10.
Second. Motion made and second to recommend favorable action on Article 10. Is there any discussion?
How are you going to find this person?
I will advertise.
No. Are you gonna do the hiring yourself or are you gonna use a firm?
No, we do that ourselves.
Yeah, okay, thank you, that's all. Cause that's gonna eat up a lot of your time.
Well, that's why I have a lieutenant.
That's why Lieutenant did. The trickle out there. Ms. Narwhal.
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye.
Benoit, aye.
Haber, aye.
Rashala, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye. Okay.
Unanimous.
Favorable.
Thank you both for coming, appreciate the patience.
We got a couple more to,
Oh, do you?
but that we at least have a vested interest in.
Alright. Alright, Article 11, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $60,000 from free cash for the purpose of funding tuition fees and associated costs for members of the Rutland Fire Department to attend paramedic school, with the funds to be expended under the direction of the fire chief, or take any other action in relation thereto. Deputy Chief Quinn has some information.
Good evening, my name's Ryan Quinn, the Deputy Chief of the Fire Department. I have 2 responsibilities. The first responsibility is to all of you as taxpayers and to the almost 10,000 people in this town. My second responsibility is to the people of my department. This program, I've thought about and have done some research on, is kind of the best of both worlds. So it benefits not only the taxpayer, but my department members as well. So the $60,000 would do would allow us to send 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, depending on what program they choose, to go from an EMT, which is your basic level medical care provider, all the way up to a paramedic, which is as far as you can go outside of a hospital setting. Those of you who don't know, a paramedic, in layman's terms, is how you save people's lives. They can do all the advanced life support. They can intubate. They can give drugs. They can read EKGs to see if you're having a heart attack. Basically, when you call 911, you have a medical emergency. You want a paramedic at your house. That's just bottom line. So the $60,000 would allow us to send, like I said, 3 members. Right now, I kind of put a chart in there. There's 3 leading programs. Pro EMS out of Cambridge. It's the most expensive, but it's the fastest turnaround. So right now they're averaging about 1 year in time. Second one is Anne Maria, about $13,000 between 1.5 years and 2 years program. And there's Mount Wachusett, which is the cheapest. All produce great products that the town can benefit from. But at the end of the day, you want a paramedic showing up to your house if you are having a medical emergency. It also helps in recruitment. Right now there is a paramedic shortage in the fire service. There's no denying it. So what this can do is make us more competitive in that market when we're trying to hire people to say, hey, Rutland's willing to pay for paramedic school. Come to us. We'll help you out. And in return, we get a great product. Retention. We have right now 8 full-time EMTs and 8 full-time paramedics. A lot of people want to advance in their careers, right? They don't want to just be an EMT forever. They want to be a paramedic, lieutenant, and they want to grow. So the ability of this funding, we can send people, to paramedic programs and advance their careers, make them feel valued, make them feel wanted. In return, they stay. Like I said earlier, operational readiness, right? You want a paramedic showing up to your house when you're having that chest pain, difficulty breathing, whatever the case may be. 2 weeks ago, we had a fatal accident on Main Street. Luckily, we had a couple paramedics on duty, and they were able to do the best they could to save that poor woman's life. So paramedics are needed, especially in a field that, unfortunately, it's a dying breed. People don't want to do the job anymore. So might as well tap into the resources that we have to make them the best they can be.
If I may, I have a question, and I don't know if this has worked. I can't remember if it's worked in the contract or not. Is there any commitment that we would expect if anyone is taking advantage of this funding, that they stay for a year? We're paying for you to become an EMT. There's a paramedic. There's a shortage. What's to say that they're not going to utilize this benefit and then go elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, it's a risk, right? Anything we do is a risk. Risk versus reward benefit. But to answer your question, it's in all the research I've done, and yet I have not talked to town council. It's a pre-employment thing. So we can find Tim Jones off the street, and if he's an EMT, we want him to paramedic school. He had to sign something prior to employment, stating, you pass paramedic school and you leave immediately, you have to refund the town completely. But in terms of current employees, and I've talked to other towns such as Westminster, Lunenburg, and Bedford, you can't do it while they're currently employed. So
you can't hold them to any sort of commitment.
So that's where the risk is.
Yeah.
But, risk versus reward.
Yeah.
If they pass, you get a paramedic. If they don't, unfortunately you swung and you missed.
Yeah.
Seth, did you reach out to town council like we asked last week?
I did not. I did not want to incur the expense for this.
I did look, and the town of Southborough does have tuition reimbursement, and they hold it accountable. Did you have to stay a year?
Is that something in their contract that they negotiate?
It's a policy that's there, and it's for the fire department. I called and asked. So
Are those contracted individuals?
yeah, all of them are.
Okay.
There's,
So then
I don't
it
think there's
depends on
a,
what's in the
is there a
contract.
fire department in the state of Massachusetts that's not contracted?
Yes. Spencer's not contracted.
Okay.
I'm not.
It's normal.
I think that I like this whole proposal. I think that we would like to put some teeth into it, and if we support it, the finance committee discussed it at length, and we thought that if there was a way to put some traction in it, we could, some teeth to keep them, that would be great. And I guess it's a town council thing, or labor lawyer or something, from what we've been told it isn't. I don't know.
And why wouldn't we do it as a reimbursement? They front it up and we reimburse them once they pass.
So a big problem is we don't have, or not we, but the members that we'd wanna send, they don't have the money to go themselves. So it's almost $20,000. A lot of people, they can't foot that bill.
But don't you do it by, but how does it work? Do you do it by class or did that $20,000
I'd have to reach out to each individual school, because I'm sure each one's different, but I'm sure it's, semester based, so, semester one, they're paying, I don't know, $7,500, semester two, so on and so forth.
So would we be paying them? I'm fully for education. I think it's a great idea. I just want to protect the town, our investment in their education. So as they're going to school, would we be paying them their salary while they're sitting there taking these classes as well?
We would allow them the time off to go to the class.
And somebody else, so, yeah,
Okay.
which could incur overtime.
Not necessarily, so we have a 2-man minimum, so all our shifts, are staffed with 3 people, during the daytime it's 4. So, if Tim Jones needs to go to paramedic school and we have 3 on, it's not gonna incur any overtime, cause we drop down to that minimum of 2, we stay there.
Ryan, would we incur, are they gonna get paid if they go on their quote unquote off time?
No, it's on them. So if
you're
you're off duty,
if you're off duty.
Yeah.
And you go to Anna Maria, say.
Yep.
You will not be getting paid.
you'll not be getting overtime, just the town obviously is paying you to go to that class. The 20
class,
the tuition.
Yes, the
Right, but
tuition.
not the salary.
Not the salary. If they're on duty, however, they can go on duty, we can cover them, or we can drop down to that 2-man minimum. But if they're off, let's say Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they're off, and they have class those 3 days, that's on them to go themselves. There's no overtime incurred or nothing like that.
So it's probably a split between the two, right? Some of it will be paid and some of it's probably not.
I think that's fair to say, yeah.
Through the chair. Mr. Quinn,
Sir.
thank you for the presentation. Couple of questions. Do you have to be an EMT before you become a paramedic?
Yeah, traditionally.
So
There's
we
3.
don't pay for that.
Sorry?
We don't pay for them to become an EMT.
That's usually a stipulation of your job,
Okay. What's the length of training to do that?
to become EMT or paramedic. Each program's different. So right now,
1 year, 2 years, in terms of years,
the max 2 years.
okay? And did you say that 60,000 would cover 3 paramedics to get trained?
Depending on what school they go to. So if they went to pro out of Cambridge, it's, in excess of $20,000. That would send 3 people to paramedic school.
Do we have control over where they go?
So again, this is not a formal plan yet. It's not in action. My suggestion would be allow the person to go to the school that fits their schedule and their lifestyle. It's a hard ask to ask somebody to go to Cambridge, 5 days a week. That's a tall order.
But I guess what I'm saying is, if you don't say, well, here's your choices, because we want to stay within the $20,000 limit, then if you go to a school, it's 25, we're only paying 20. We're not paying 25.
That's fair, yeah.
If you really want to get that.
Yeah.
Okay. And why are you asking for 3 at one time? If it's about 25, in other words, what's your turnover rate in paramedics? Is it pretty great that we gotta train 3 at a time? And the follow-up question is, does a paramed go with an EMT on each run?
It all depends on staff. I'll answer the second question first. It all depends on staffing. So if we have, 2 paramedics on, or let's say we have 2 paramedics in the EMT. There's a chance that both paramedics go out of town. Again, we have shift commanders, so chief, myself, and we have lieutenants and captains that run the shift. So they kind of dictate who goes on what call and how it's all going to work, and they have that operational picture. So there's a chance that we could have 2 medics on one call, or it could be an EMT and a medic, or it could be 2 EMTs. Like I said, right now we have 8 EMTs and 8 paramedics full time. So if you do the math, that's a 50-50 chance you're going to have an EMT or a paramedic.
Because they on 2 at a time, or 3
For
per
each
shift?
call?
Per shift.
3.
3 per shift.
And during the daytime, there's 4.
Okay, per shift. And what's the turnover in paramedics?
Success rate?
In other words, they start and then 2 or 3 years later they leave because they got the paramed and they go somewhere else. So now that paramed has to be trained to fill in.
I'll be honest, it's situational. There is a thing called contract shopping, which I hate to admit, but people nowadays want to find the best contract. They want to get paid the highest, most time off. So there are people that, you know, they get their ticket, they're paramedic, and they do what's called contract shop. They do try to find that department that can give them the best bang for their buck. And again, risk versus reward, like it could happen, absolutely. But
because you guys are in close contact with your staff, you would probably know who you want to give that paramed training to and who you don't.
yeah, I mean, I would open it up to the department. People would have to apply, and they'd have to, you know, basically state their case, why they deserve it. You could look at their schedule, other jobs they might have outside, and look at their, you know, disciplinary record and everything else. Talk to our EMS coordinator, our affiliated doctor at UMass, and kind of get a picture of, you know, why person A is better than person B. It'd be a whole interview process.
I will tell you, Lieutenant, that I agree that training is ultra important. I'm just not sure that 3 at one time. Cause I'm not hearing.
Okay, so it wouldn't necessarily be 3, it wouldn't be 3 at one time.
So we wouldn't pay $60,000 this year for 3 people
You
to be
would follow
trained.
the tuition. So
We'd appropriate the 60
You-
for them to use.
correct, at the direction of the fire chief.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you could spend all 60 in 1 year by sending 3 people.
It's possible, but I don't see that as being realistic. Because going to the point of, you know, overtime and filling vacancies, it wouldn't make no sense for us to send 3 at once,
Okay.
knowing that, you know, people are gonna be missing work to go to the class and we have to fill it in overtime. So I would make the suggestion we do 1 at a time. You know, one person gets certified, great, we can start the next person, so on and so forth,
So this 60 grand you're asking us for could go 3 years out.
potentially.
Okay.
Or more.
Or more,
Depends.
depending on.
And we have to set up an article for this,
Article.
which we do, and then we pay from the article as he's requesting it. So that article could sit there for 3 or 4 years.
Correct.
Okay.
But would likely be spent out, if I may, would likely be spent out somewhat every year
Yeah.
because someone is going. So it's not just a article of 60,000
Right.
sitting there, it's an
Right.
article of 60,000 that
Be drawn
over the
upon-
first,
Be drawn upon.
right,
Yeah.
and it's continual
Okay.
use. So it's not
Active.
just a
It's
stagnant,
active,
it's an
yeah.
active article, sorry.
May I ask this is just I don't have a lot of experience with the contract world, but is there any way to approach the union to make an amendment to the contract regarding tuition?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
I
We'd
don't know
have to talk
what's
to,
involved with that, but
we'd have to impact bargain or something like that and open negotiations up, which is good and bad.
Yeah.
You know, we're almost done our first year of the contract, so it's 2 more years, we
Right.
can open it up then and discuss it, but
I wonder if it's something where like I guess at the discretion of the fire chief, is it something where if we agree to appropriate the 60, you know, can we prioritize new staff where we can have the guarantee first and then work towards some sort of either contract amendment or again, in the 2 years' time, work it into the contract negotiations, something, so again, for the guarantee, or, you know, are we willing to take the risk?
New staff
What do you
would be
mean by-
hired in under the
What do you mean by
existing contract.
guarantee?
What
That
we've
they
been
stay for
talking
a
about,
couple
that
years?
if we're gonna pay for their education, that we have a guarantee that they're gonna remain on staff for a
Couple,
year,
3
2
years,
years, whatever it may be, and not just take the money and.
The only fear is, go ahead, Tommy, first.
I think that the step we talked about at our meeting last week, we did speak with Seth about it. We've got to get town council to go in and say, okay, I understand what you said about you have to be a condition of employment, whatever, but how do we handle that? Can it be done or not? And then, I know there's departments that have those policies that you have to sign them before you get paid, but I know there's also a catch-22 there though. You can't sign up for the class without paying for it, cause they won't take you, cause they want their money up front. But we don't wanna pay them till they've successfully completed it, so it's, you know, it goes both ways. But I think the conversations have got to be had with town council to get that, both of those issues straightened out. not straighten out, but defined, and so we know exactly what we're gonna do.
Most colleges, at least, when I was getting my master's, they would take a promissory note saying that as long as I get a B, the town, my employer will be paying this, but I have to make this and I have to do this. And that way there's a little bit of skin in the game.
So,
Because now what happens if they take all the classes, how many times can they take the exam?
so in reality, it's infinite.
Okay.
Usually it's
Okay.
3 times. You have to do a refresher and you get 3 more times.
Okay, okay.
But going back to what you said, the people that are doing putting the class on and taking care of it, they've gotta pay their employees to be there. They
Right.
can't wait till the thing's all over with and say, well, you've gotta wait till the end. They're not gonna put
They'll
up with
take a
that.
promissory note.
Yeah, colleges won't do that anymore.
You don't think so? None of them?
No,
You don't
I
think
know
any
they
of them?
won't actually. Yeah, they definitely won't.
So to finish up that, though, if somebody's not passing their exams and they're not able to get their paramedic certification,
We're out the money.
we're out the money.
Well, we gotta
So
pay.
I think there's.
Unless we can.
Put a little teeth in it.
I was gonna say, it depends
think
what
that
you
there's a
put in that
variety-
contract.
Yeah, and I think that we talked about a lot of things, and I think that could be a variety of ways. There may not be, just as you can choose what school you're gonna go to based on your work style and your work, everything. I think there's a number of ways that we might be able to do this. A new hire is part of the new contract. If somebody is not a new hire and we can't change the union contract, then maybe we have a mechanism that they can pay upfront and we reimburse. Or I think that there's ways to approach it to accommodate a lot of different scenarios. But again, how do we, I've got you, this is ongoing. I think you're looking to have this continually funded. We're not gonna just fund $60,000 worth of paramedics and say we're done, right?
I would like to see it continue.
So what would your goal be for a number of paramedics? 100%?
Again, it's up to the members, buy-in. Nobody, this is complete risk, right? Nobody might wanna do it at our station. But they all might wanna do it. I don't know.
But you, as in your position, what is your goal?
I would say 2 paramedics per shift.
For a total of, for a total of,
10. Yeah, 10.
and you have 8.
We have 8 currently, but the chief's included in the number. So really 7.
Through the chair, what's the difference in pay scale between an EMT and a paramed?
10%.
Current, yeah.
It's 10%.
Currently, that's
Dollar value,
standby.
dollar value per year?
$6,945.
So the difference is about $7,000 a year.
Yeah, that's on steps. So I was looking at step 6. So that's
Well, I'm thinking somebody who becomes a new paramed. So that between them being an EMT, what I'm trying to rationalize, we're paying 20 grand. So if they get that and they get their pay increased by another $7,000 a year, they win both ways. And I'm trying to say, okay, then what's in it for us if we give you the ability not only to get a paramed, but you're gonna get a big pay increase? What's in it for the town? How do we?
you get the service.
We get that guy coming to the door that's gonna save my
I've had that, but what I'm saying is,
That's
what
the
Carolyn was saying, how do we make, okay, 7 grand, I have no problem with, but you gotta be here for 3 years or 2 years. Whatever your training period is, you gotta be here for that after you get your paramed. Because the town has given you this much.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with any of that. Again, we have to seek town council and get their opinion on it.
Okay.
That's gotta get straightened out with town council. But the ultimate goal would be to have everybody be a paramedic, cause that's what you want showing up on your doorstep.
That's what I had showing up on my
I'm
doorstep.
just
Right, no, so, yeah.
But not everybody has that.
Not every time.
Through the chairs. If you may, I did not want to pose this question to town council, because I didn't know the level of reception we would have had tonight. If this article was not gonna make it to town meeting, I didn't wanna spend the legal funds on that. I think if it passes at town meeting, we can send the request to town council, our legal council, to look at our current contract and to see what avenues is the best way to approach this, and we can come back to the select board with a policy and how it would be defined. November 21st, we're not sending someone to school. After town meeting, so I think there's a window here, that, the policy and everything, could be shaken out, pretty quickly. But again, we didn't wanna front load it with legal fees and expenses if this was not gonna be supported.
And one more statement is that when we reopen their contract, they have the ability to change their contract as well. So this isn't the town of Rutland going in and saying, you guys are gonna do X, Y, Z, it's even,
And they don't have to open it.
they don't.
So I stepped out of the room for a second, so maybe I missed it. Did we ask at all about just signing a single form when they sign up to take the classes? That if they left after 3 years, it would be they would have to.
We need to get legal counsel.
Okay, alright,
Legal
just
counsel.
making sure.
That's all, we just wanna cover our tail first.
I think maybe put it together, we, as a finance committee, I think we lose any say on having teeth in it or skin in the game because it's gonna go to select board. So I think that we're trying to maybe say as much as we want to here, and I think we could have some wishes, and I don't know.
Is there any way to layer in language that makes those funds available once those teeth are put in? On the article?
If I may, it says with the funds to be expended under the direction of the fire chief. Fire chief is a strong chief, and I think he currently is here listening to the conversation from the board and in the finance committee. But I hear that concern that I think for a town warrant article, it's tough to layer in too much specific language. We have the conversation. I don't know.
I think that everybody in the room has a good understanding of the direction we'd like to go. And I think if everybody votes, if the selectmen vote to place this and vote favorable, the chief will take the action to make it work or see what we can do, and then we can figure it out from there.
Would we be able to have the answers from legal prior to the town meeting?
Oh, I think you could.
Okay.
Yep.
Cause I think
Or a
these.
sense, because that might be a question at town
Exactly,
meeting.
I'm thinking the questions that we're asking, I'm sure are going to be asked by others, so if we could get those answers, I think that would be a good thing.
And it doesn't, I wouldn't necessarily think that it has to have an absolute policy in place because
No,
if it's
not
not.
that, but at least we can have an answer as to yes, no, or.
Conversation.
I mean, and it's, we're asking this to invest in the staff. Our chiefs have just as much want for the staff to stay as well, so they're going to, even at this point, make sure that they're awarding this tuition money to somebody that they have high confidence that is going to meet the expectations, pass the courses, and stay with the department for a longer period of time. So they have just as much skin in the game, I think, as those of us that are looking to fund the request.
So based on the conversation, I would move to place Article 11 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board. And the comment for the minutes is for the chief and deputy to work with legal to kind of address the concerns that both committee and board have brought up.
Second.
Motion second, any other discussion?
Second, I.
Wait a minute.
That's enough.
Alright.
Ledger I.
Mr. Rochelle.
I make a motion, the finance committee recommends favorable on Article 10.
11.
11, oh yeah, I wrote it down, 11.
Second.
Do we have any other discussion?
Oh, I do.
Yes, sir.
What I wanted to say was, Seth, did
Yes, sir.
I understand you to say though you didn't wanna do something with the legal until it passed the town meeting?
Or at least placed on the warrant.
Oh, placed on the warrant, but I think
Now
we
I
should-
got direction from the board to seek
Yeah,
legal.
but I think, well, I mean, my 2 cents is that should be done now, so that answer is like Karen just said, at the town meeting, it's gonna be asked.
That's why it's
So
in
even if you don't have a complete policy or a finalized thing, at least you got the basics of it, and you can say, this is what we're putting together and this will do
people can be held accountable.
whatever
Yep, absolutely.
before the town meeting.
Yep.
Is that the question, Seth, can people be held accountable?
Correct. Yeah.
It's,
Yep.
because there seems, I think we have a lot of great ideas, and again, I want a paramedic to my house. And again, it just,
Protecting the
do our
people
due
want paramedics
diligence,
to their
you know.
house. I don't want any.
Well, you bet, I don't know.
If it can be avoided, I don't want any of these guys in this room coming to my house.
Amen.
But if I need them, I want them there quickly, and I want them to have bullets, and I want them to have paramedics. How's that?
20 minutes ago, you
All
said
right.
that was the greatest. Now you want me in your house.
We're gonna add, let's have a vote this now.
I'm gonna defer until we hear back from legal counsel.
Winika, aye.
I'd like to defer too, I don't know if that's abstaining, but I'll come back to it.
For the sake of it, can I say abstain?
Sure.
Favor aye.
Charlotte, aye.
Ted,
I would defer until we get that from the legal.
So it's an aye.
and, Ross, aye. Okay, moving on.
So what did that end up?
Favorable.
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 Thank you. All right, moving into Article 12, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $98,000 from the capital stabilization fund to purchase and equip a new pickup truck with a plow for the fire department, including all other incidental and related expenses. Pretty self-explanatory. Anything else you want to add?
No, I just wanna add that this pickup truck, although it seems simple, it's also a District 8 wide asset. So basically all of Northern County. We tow equipment for tech rescue team, trailer our boat. So anytime there's a drowning or water incident, we go district wide and assist in that emergency. It'll also be used shortly to trailer the District 8 incident management team trailer, also a district wide asset. So this pickup truck, although it seems simple, also services not only Rutland but basically all of northern Worcester County. So although it seems simple, it's a really valuable asset.
And
I see
we-
Dan's here.
I was gonna say, we have Dan Gracie, the chair of the CIPC on Zoom. Dan, we have here that you have a favorable recommendation. Is there anything else you wanted to add from the CIPC perspective?
Everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Yep.
I think everything was outlined in the recommendation. I'm available for any questions, but I don't have anything specific to add at this point.
So then I would move to place Article 12 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
I have a question. May seem simple. Fire department is seeking to replace fire car, and it has reached the end of its useful life for the department's needs. However, we're gonna repurpose it, and we're gonna let you know it still has 5 to 7 years of useful life remaining. So,
So, to be honest with you,
it doesn't really have 5 to 7 years of useful life?
not in the fire department world.
Yeah.
In the
Okay.
DPW world, water
Okay.
department world,
I
it has a
think
less use of the vehicle.
If we're gonna do, I think we need to specify that it is going to the DPW and that it will have 5 to 7 years
That's what it
life.
says.
In the
That's what it
it's in the
says.
explanation.
It says
Well,
it.
with the water department, with residual value, so maybe that says, to me, it was a little confusing to me.
Okay,
'cause it's
we can
like-
clean that up.
That's all. And where did the 20,000 come from?
Kelly
Because to
Blue
me,
Book.
if I bought a truck like that,
It's right from the Kelly Blue Book bag.
Really?
Yep.
okay. Since we're not trading it in, that means instead of buying the water truck for another $80,000 that they want,
That was the
we're giving it
trade.
to them for 20,
Yeah.
basically. Okay.
Yep.
Good deal.
So Seth, how is that working, or is that still up in the air? If it's
I
even
have,
going to work?
so, again, this will be up to the select board decision. If there is a position that the water and sewer department should pay the residual value of the 20,000, it can be done through the depreciation cost over the 5 years, and that can be charged to indirect costs, and the town could get it on the revenue side. So, again, that would be a select board decision during budgetary times.
Okay.
I think the other statement here was that's never been done before for any of these.
None.
So why wouldn't you just pass it on to the next department and
Again,
save the money from buying it on the other side, like you just mentioned?
The problem is that water and sewer is part of, people are paying
utilities.
for that, right?
Oh, I'm clearly aware of that.
Well, it's just a different pocket.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that every time we talk about this, we talk about things are working together.
Well, this is your private water supply, this is not.
It's true, but,
And I just wanna,
it's easy pickings, that's what that money is, that's why.
I just wanna shoot a thank you out to Daniel Gracie and the committee for taking the time to evaluate how to use assets from the town and repurpose them. That doesn't cost the town anything, because from my understanding, we were on the verge of buying a special plow and truck for the water department. So this was a way of repurposing something that is very high use by the fire department, so.
We're saving you money.
And we save money by doing it, yes.
Well, I don't know.
You were there when these discussions started, Harry.
Oh, no, Dan, it's all you guys, all you guys.
No, not at all.
Alright, so we have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Alright, Carrie?
Second, I.
Whitman, aye.
That's an aye.
Alright,
And Ledger, aye.
Thomas,
I make a motion that the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 12.
we have a second.
Second.
Do we have any further discussion?
Yeah, this is a comment from me with your discussion about, I know you talked a lot about, being an asset to District 8, but I just wanna add, I don't wanna ask, I wanna recommend to you, if you'd use that same language at the town meeting, make sure you inform everybody that Rutland gets a lot of assets from District 8 in return, so they're not thinking that this truck is bought just to go out to other towns. There's a lot of reciprocal stuff of equipment that we can't afford in Rutland to buy that District 8 has to be used here.
Yep.
So it's a two-way street.
Thank you.
We have a motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? How many miles are on it? Someone's gonna ask.
70,561.
Okay,
Oh, wow. Young car.
all right.
someone's gonna ask that?
Oh, there'll be, we ask about streetlights.
How many watts?
Ms. Narrow.
Narwhal die.
Winika, aye.
Benoit aye.
Hey, Rye.
Charlotte, aye.
Ted
Purcell, aye.
and Ross, aye. Names.
Article 13, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $222,428 from receipts reserved for appropriation from the sale of real estate in accordance with GL Chapter 44, Section 63, to purchase, equip, and install a new camera system, door access control system, and interview booking audio equipment in the public safety building, including all other incidental and related expenses.
Hi, everyone. Michael Moriarty, Director of Communications. So this request is to replace all the existing cameras, access control, and recording systems throughout the public safety building. The current systems right now are over a decade old, running on unsupported software, and no longer provide reliable coverage around the building. The new solution that we're looking at implemented will protect staff, visitors, and municipal assets around the building. It'll eliminate current coverage gaps, blind zones, replace unsupported Windows XP based systems, restore complete recording and access control capability, ensure proper documentation of detainee interactions and facility access events, and provide long-term reliability and expandability for the future.
I have a, if I may, a question, and it's probably not for you, Director Moriarty, but this, just for public knowledge, this is the property from the sale of the Heights property
That is correct.
funding?
Yep.
Just to be clear.
Yep.
Finally.
And just before, we do have, I know Dan's here, but we have a favorable CIPC recommendation for this article.
Through the chair. Mr. Moriarty,
Yes, sir.
do you have the functionality to bring in cameras from other buildings into that system?
Yes.
You do?
Yep.
So for example, the water.
Yep.
The schools.
Yep.
Can be brought into that whole system.
And all town buildings,
All the
if
town-
in the future we were to add security cameras across, yes.
Okay.
And through the chairs, this is the exact same system that the town approved and voted for to be installed in all three schools. So the compatibility will be interchangeable between all, and all will be able to be viewed and accessed by police and dispatch.
If needed.
If needed.
Yep. Okay. And how much money's left in that fund?
So current balance is $1,554,960. After this expense, the balance would be $1.332532.
And when was the last time we accessed the money?
Never, other than to pay the debt principal and interest on the original borrowing for the property.
Okay.
Is this a state bid or was it put out to bid or?
State bid.
State bid?
Yep.
Sorry, what does that mean?
It's on a state contract.
Okay.
Meets procurement regulations.
So I would move to place Article 13 as presented, with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion?
Second, aye.
Whitman, aye.
Nice and I.
Ledger I.
Mr. Rochelle.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 13.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded on Article 13. Does anyone have any discussion?
Donna, this would qualify, if it didn't pass, this would qualify for a 5-year loan.
Oh, yeah.
I
And the
think-
useful life is greater than 5 years.
And I know that, but I gotta ask the question so it's on the record, cause I know it's going to be asked.
Could you explain that, Karen?
Because in order for us to use the money, for that, it has to be something that will have more than a 5-year life, and it has to be something that we would take a loan out for
Greater than 5 years.
greater than 5 years.
Considered a capital asset.
Okay, correct.
It's the only way that it qualifies for us to use this fund.
We discussed this before. I just wanted everybody in
Yep.
the room to know
Yep.
exactly what you're saying.
But it could be used to buy chapter land
Ex-
that comes
Correct.
available too, so
Precisely.
that was my concern, that we don't spend it
I'm
in
I'm
little
just
chunks.
I'm just excited we're finally using it. Any other questions? All those in, Karen,
Narwhal, aye.
Winnicke, aye. Benoit, aye.
You're right.
Rochelle, aye.
Purcell, aye.
and Ross, aye.
Through the chair. If I might, I just have Donna, how much interest are we earning on that fund?
Well, this fund does not get to keep its own interest, it's considered, it's reserved, but it's general fund, so the interest is in the
Right.
general.
How much are we earning every year, do you know? A couple of $100, couple of thousand, 50,000?
It depends on the interest rate for that particular year, so.
My mind just goes and says, okay, we're spending $200,000 on this. But if we have to do a 5-year loan, we're earning a lot of interest on that fund that will offset what the payment will be for the money that we're taking.
So borrowing would cost more than what we could get back in interest.
But it would balance it off a little bit. You know, that's why I asked how much, okay. Thank you.
I think that's everything, I just wanna make sure I confirm, there's nothing else but thank you, I appreciate your patience, thank you for being here. Feel free to stay if you want. Alright, Article 14, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $59,348 from water and sewer retained earnings to purchase, equip, and install new sewer pump station equipment, including all other incidental and related expenses. This is to replace 2 sewer pumps on Miles Road.
So if I may, I just wanna point out, this was before there, for public's knowledge and our knowledge, in our water sewer regs, there is supposed to be an accountability piece, a fund that, the developers, when they install sewer pump stations, are supposed to be paying into. Cause that was some of my concern, that these are units that have they're mechanical units that have an end of life or need upgrades, and it's not necessarily fair for all the ratepayers, and potentially the town, to be on the hook for pump stations that are servicing a very few select group of houses or whatever. In the water sewer regs, going back to early to mid 2000s, it's in there that there's supposed to be the developers are supposed to be, and I don't think that it's ever been held accountable. And I think Austin and John had found it before, after kind of Carol, you and I had been pushing for years about it. And so I just want to put in there for everybody's public knowledge. This obviously wouldn't qualify because it was from 1999 anyway. But going forward, if for any other construction work that can be
So how do we make that actually happen? Cause it didn't happen in early 2000s. How's it gonna happen from 2025 forward?
keep it on the radar, keep talking about it.
How do we enforce it?
Well, it's there somewhere.
Right.
Well, it's in the bylaw, but yes, he's.
I just don't want it to be like the early 2000s,
Right.
and 5 years from now, we gotta.
But that's part of the reason I wanted to put it out there here in with all of this knowledge, and
Is that a permitting step?
it's in I think it's planning board is the one that is
It's an order of
developing,
conditions with
Yeah.
okay.
but it's stipulated in the water sewer regs that if they're approving water sewer or allowing it, that-
Is there a value given to that?
Yeah, I think there's a dollar amount in there, and I can't remember the wording exactly, I'm not sure if it's a bond, how it's set up, but it's supposed to be.
I think you ought to look and make sure that we know which board it is that's responsible for making sure that that's done, because I would think water and sewer would be the water and sewer commissioners that has to make sure that we get those monies.
Right, but it's also planning board that is approving the.
I get it,
Yeah.
but DPW, planning board lets you guys know, and then you guys make sure the money goes into the fund.
And that's why I'm saying it
Because they're
here
the ones that, you have all of that information, or should have access to all of that information.
And that's why I'm saying it here for.
And that's part of taking, approving laying out of the ways and approving streets and getting all that. They're almost all now attached with
Street improvement.
huge liabilities of $1 to probably $2 million now.
So if we, just point of discussion, so if it was an order of condition when we built this neighborhood and built several other neighborhoods that use pumping stations, and would it be unrealistic for us to send them a bill?
I don't think we can build
What,
them.
well, wait a minute, it's an order of conditions that we granted that development.
No, this pumping station was Deborah's pumping station that the town took over when Gamble was building the other stuff.
But how about the other ones? If there was an order of conditions like Leah's talking from 2000,
In other-
early 2000s, why wouldn't we ask in the same question Seth's asking legal counsel about the fire department, ask them that question? Why are we just writing that off that we didn't do it?
I don't know, I'm afraid that once we
I think
make
once
it a
they're
public
accepted,
street, yeah, exactly, once we
don't have
No,
any
but
recourse.
if
Have
an
no
order of
recourse.
conditions, doing some construction over in the town of Spencer, we had an order of conditions, if we didn't follow it they came back and gave us a bill. So I'm just wondering if we should just ask if it could be recouped from, or just ask.
Well, we should ask, and we should find out which is
How to enforce it.
who's the enforcement officer.
That's all.
Yeah, that's the
I-
thing,
I
who's
just-
the enforcement officer, and then from there, we can
Just because they
decide,
didn't,
whatever.
just because they didn't pay doesn't make it right.
So I don't wanna derail, sorry to derail, I just wanted the point of conversation out there for
No, but it was a
everybody to
great
hear.
point.
for
No, I
everybody
don't wanna
to hear.
derail it. I wanna do it, but
Right.
I would ask the town administrator if he's got any extra time to check into it.
So then I would move to place Article 14 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any other discussion from the select board? Eric?
Second, aye.
Whitman, aye.
Mattson, aye.
No,
Ledger I.
Mr. Rochelle.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 14.
We have a motion, does anyone want to second it?
Second.
All right, any discussion, further discussion, other than the discussion? that
This
we
one
already
does bother me a little bit with the repeated pump failures. Are we understanding why the repeated pump failures are happening?
had? Articles of clothing that shouldn't go down the toilet,
Is that really it?
yes,
That's a big part of it, if not it. Yeah.
unfortunate.
Is there,
Articles of clothing and items, let's call it items, that should not be flushed. Get into the system and then ruin our pumps.
Is there an upgrade to that pump station that would prevent?
There is nothing that will stop an underwire. What do you call it? What's that fancy brand?
Victoria's Secret.
What's taken it out several times
This
is,
is a family of.
I know. There's nothing that will stop that. It kills our pumps one shot.
But we did talk about last week about the pump stations, maybe should be upgraded to more industrial strength kind of stuff when they're done.
Yeah, okay, that's a separate topic.
It's a separate topic, but there are items, let me be clear, there are items that get flushed.
Don't give us that.
Fishing,
There's ways to solve that, that's
Yes.
all, so it might be a conversation I'm happy to have with somebody.
Yeah.
That's it, thank you.
okay, we got a motion made and seconded.
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye. Benoit, aye.
Neighbor, aye.
Rochelle, aye.
Purcell, aye.
Ross, aye. I stepped into it there, didn't
Alright, we're halfway through, so
we could do wholesale some of them, you know.
just Article 15, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $25,000 from water and sewer retained earnings to purchase, equip, and install new chemical pumps at the water treatment plant, including all their incidental and related expenses. This is similar 20-year-old pumps. It's more cost effective to replace than rebuild.
I would move to place Article 15 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Motion, is there a second? Second, any discussion? Eric?
Second, aye.
Wait a minute.
That's an aye.
Ledger I.
Mr. Shell.
Mr. Chairman.
That's not happening, but.
He's just so used to saying it.
The finance committee recommends favorable on Article 15.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none,
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye.
Benoit, aye.
Neighbor, aye.
Charlotte, aye.
Purcell, aye.
and Ross, aye. Okay,
When do you ask whether these pumps are fluoride pumps?
Article 16, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $26,500 from water and sewer retained earnings to purchase, equip, and install fire hydrants and installation accessories, including and all other incidental and related expenses. This is to replace 6 fire hydrants that are currently out of service.
And I appreciate the comment, the FinCom discussion as to why it was coming out of water sewer retained earnings, I believe, and not a free cash, and the answer was that it's a utility infrastructure, is that?
Well, that's the answer, but the water system on the hydrants
Right.
benefits the town as a whole.
Right.
And that's why Mr. Rochelle recommended that the town as a whole buy into replacement.
Yeah, I brought that up, I thought, my idea was that the hydrant repairs should come from, free cash rather than water and sewer retained earnings, because they are an asset to the whole town, they are to the water system, that's what they are, but the hydrants get used for things in the whole town beyond the water system.
I guess my question, and I don't wanna derail, it's late, but I don't wanna derail, but my question is, what, are the hydrants pretty much only on the water infrastructure? Because I know
yes.
where we are, it's fire ponds, right? So like, are the ratepayers the ones that are benefiting from the hydrants?
That's my point, is the whole town is benefiting from them, not just the ratepayers.
Oh, I guess that's.
Okay.
Because,
Through the chair.
because there are incidents beyond the system that they used, and they also go, if there's an incident over here, they go over to the hydrants, use the hydrants to get water and go back to the call that's ways away, et cetera.
Through the chairs, main purpose would be, for example, middle of winter, the fire ponds are frozen, you can't access, ponds or streams or whatever. The tankers would run to the center of town, grab water from the hydrants, and then bring it back through tankers. So that's why it's a town asset.
So I would be comfortable I'm comfortable with the article. I would be comfortable also switching it to, instead of from water and sewer retained earnings, using it from free cash. That would decrease the free cash value amount. Sorry, Seth.
That's okay, I can do some math again.
It's 26,500. And was that kind of the conversation at FinCom as to that? I don't know how the board, before I make a motion, I don't wanna go rogue.
I don't necessarily disagree, I mean, if it's something the whole town's gonna benefit from, it doesn't necessarily make sense to take it out of only a portion.
So then I would move to place Article 16 as presented with the amendment that the funding source is from free cash, not water and sewer retained earnings, and with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Second, I agree.
Alright, we have a motion and a second, is there any further discussion from the select board? Okay,
Oh, second, I.
Whitman, aye.
Mattson, aye.
Ledger, aye.
Mr. Shao.
I make a motion that the Finance Committee recommends favorable action on Article 16 as presented.
Second,
As presented or as amended, sorry.
as amended.
As amended, recommend.
Does anyone have any discussion on the finance committee at this point?
Well, the only other thing I added to this one with Seth last week was, there should be a separate account or some mechanism to get money, so when there's a hydrant that goes out of service for whatever reason, it should be fixed right then. It shouldn't be waiting to come to a town meeting and be fixed. Because you never, there's some hydrants we've probably never used in town, and there's other hydrants you use a lot, but you never know which one is gonna
Shouldn't be a debate when you need it.
Right, so I think there's something we gotta look at just to.
Do we, I'm assuming, inspect the fire hydrants?
Every year, yeah,
So-
they're all flow tested every year and
So do
flushed.
we have, is it just yeah, it's good, or no, it needs repair, how do we?
Oh, we'll know it's good, cause in the winter, they have to go, if they fill it with water in the winter, they freeze.
Yep.
And then we know they're bad, or the,
Hey,
Someone
here's
hits it.
where I'm going with my question is,
Do
we have a list of them, do we know that
They're
we're
supposed to
likely
drain.
gonna see X number that we
They're supposed to drain, so.
account for that maybe for upcoming budget?
well, in the last several years, when Joe Buckley was here, when he did the water and sewer, he built in a $50,000 a year line item for capital repairs for incidentals that come up during the year. If it wasn't used, it just rolled back.
Yeah.
I talked to Director Klosky, I think we're gonna do that, propose that same thing again this year, so there's money available for those type of, unforeseen
Unforeseen
repairs.
issues, okay, thank you.
Does anyone else have any discussion? Ms.
Narrow eye.
Winika, aye.
Would I?
Hey, Roy.
Charlotte, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross is an aye.
Alright, Article 17, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate from water and sewer receipts or transfer from water and sewer retained earnings the sum of $175,000 for the purchase, equipping, and installation of replacement of water meters, including all other incidental and related expenses. This is related to the water meters. The board voted earlier this year to adopt the $25 quarterly fee, which is only going to pay for a quarter of the replacements, correct? Which is what this first payment represents.
Which I think according to Chris, I don't know if he can do more than 25% a year in replacing the meters.
Well, they're hiring.
Right, But,
outside, the
but-
DPW is not doing it.
but that's what he said, is I didn't know if they could replace all of them. Maybe he's right, by hurrying, you'll get it done faster. But anyways, it's gonna be covered over a 4-year period. So what happens if we pay the check out of water and sewer, but we collect the money that didn't actually account for the money? It just becomes part of the revolving account?
It would become part of, yeah, so that's what, my recommendation on this article is to use retained earnings, because we haven't collected the money yet. We will, but we have to get approval from the Department of Revenue with the recap. Excuse me, let me start over again. Part of the recap, the tax rate setting is approval with all the enterprise revenue and expenses. And all the revenue and expenses stays within the water and sewer. It's
Okay.
not gonna be touched by anyone else.
Okay.
But since this is a brand new, a brand new charge, we haven't collected the revenue yet. My recommendation was, for this article, for this one time, was to use it, retained earnings, so that the Department of Revenue won't give us a hard time in December with, well, you haven't collected that revenue yet. And then when we do, it's gonna go back into our retained earnings at year end. I was just trying to, my suggestion for the retained earnings was to ensure we didn't have a problem at the Department of Revenue in December. And
So if I may, the fee's still going to be issued and collected, and we're basically front loading the payment and to ensure that everything is cool on the DOR recap side of things.
approval part, yes, yep.
We're front loading the payment from the water. and sewer
Next year,
rates.
we'll show a whole year history of collection,
Right,
and
and
then next year
then-
won't be an issue.
So the cost of each individual meter is then gonna get put on the people's bills?
I guess my concern when I said that was, you don't expect the retained earnings to go low enough where we're gonna have to raise. Remember how we get audited every year for the water? That we're gonna have to increase the water and sewer rates because we don't have money in there because we haven't collected it yet. That's my concern.
So currently, our current rates are making the budget. If in 27 the budget increases more, then there
Is there
will be a
cost
conversation,
increase?
yes, but right now where the rates are, we're covering the budget.
And the whole conversation was adding this $25, if I remember correctly, was adopting the $25 quarterly fee to help to start funding this project, knowing that it would be a transitional multi-year project.
Right.
And not to charge every ratepayer that needs new water meters a hefty fee right up front.
Yes, yep. And next year, we could have it part of their budget, or you can have a separate line item as well. But next year, in 27, we can, like Seth said, we can show the revenues come in, and we wouldn't use retained earnings in 27.
So then, if the board's comfortable, I would move to place Article 17 as presented with a favorable recommendation from Select Board.
Second,
Any further discussion?
second and I.
Whitman, aye.
Matt's and I.
Ledger, aye.
Mr. Rochelle.
I make a motion that the Finance Committee recommends favorable action on Article 17.
Second.
Any discussion?
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye. Benoit, aye.
Paper aye.
Oh, Rochelle, aye.
Ted
Purcell, aye.
and Ross, aye.
Alright. Article 18, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $30,000 from water and sewer retained earnings for repairs on the concrete storage tanks at the water treatment plant, including all other incidental and related expenses.
If just as a comment, if we can have at town meeting ready the remaining funds or the balance, the starting balance and the available funds for water sewer retained earnings, only because I know we put the free cash out, we switched the one to free cash,
Yeah,
but because
I'll have that all cleaned up for
I
you,
think,
yep.
and do you have a ballpark number just for our knowledge? What's
Water retained earnings, remaining will be $483,486. So we're spending half of the retained earnings.
Thank you.
Yep.
I would move to place Article 18 as presented with a favorable recommendation from Select Board.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion?
Selectmen, aye.
Whitman, aye.
Matt's an aye.
Ledger I.
You ready?
Go ahead.
Bless you.
I make a motion that the finance board recommend favorable action on Article 18.
Second.
Okay, any discussion, and I just have a question, then is this something that the whole town benefits as well from, that we shouldn't take it out of there and we should take it out of free cash?
If it's for the water treatment plant, I would assume that
Well,
anybody that's on a
if your
well,
kids go to
so-
school and they drink the water at the school, and they're not on the water plant, it's a benefit for everybody. That's my only,
Does the school get do the schools get water sewer bills?
Yes.
that's just a statement. It's only 30 grand, but I'm just wondering if,
It's a good idea.
Through the chairs, just so you know, the construction of the new water tank, that is a separate bill on your water bill now. So this is just maintenance of the water
The old
tanks.
tank.
The old tank,
So the school still gets a charge on their water
Yep.
bill? Okay.
yep, just like everyone else does.
So we are, yeah.
and all of us pay for the school, so that answers the question. Karen?
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye. Benoit, aye.
You're right.
Michelle, aye.
Purcell, aye.
Ross, aye. Thank you.
Are we all done taking money out of the account?
That's why we asked, Tommy, that was my question, it was just for you.
I'm starting to get shakes.
Tell him.
All right.
Article 19, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to enter into a lease purchase financing agreement pursuant to GL chapter 44, section 21C for the acquisition and equipping of a street sweeper for the Department of Public Works, including all other incidental and related expenses for a term not to exceed 5 years, the useful like of said equipment as determined by the select board, and to further transfer the sum of $69,621.87 from stormwater retained earnings for the first year lease payment. This is, we have a favorable recommendation from CIPC for this item.
Is this procedural because of what
Correct.
we have to lease it?
No, all lease purchases now have to be voted at town meeting because the town is obligated or taking a liability.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, that's all.
I have a question, maybe you could answer, I'll ask Dan. Dan, on this one here, did Chris say that, to do a lease, a 5-year lease purchase, that the price would basically be equal to cash? There'd be no upcharge because it's a lease?
That was my understanding, and I think it was a procedural issue as to why it didn't go through last time.
Okay. Thank you.
Will there be enough money left in the stormwater retained earnings to pay years 2 through 5?
Absolutely. It's budgeted, it was budgeted last year, but because the lease didn't go through, so that's fine, we use a
Perfect.
retained order.
I just,
Yep.
Okay.
perfect.
I would move to place Article 19 as presented with a favorable recommendation from Select Board.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Harry?
Second, aye.
Whitman, aye.
Matt's an aye.
Ledger I.
Mr. Shell.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 19.
Second.
Any discussion?
Narwhal,
Is
aye.
there a typo in that needs to be fixed?
Where are you
The
looking
word
at?
like should be life.
Thanks, Ted.
Oh, yep.
It's that school teacher and you're coming out, big guy. Thank you.
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye.
Hey, right.
Michelle, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye.
Article 20, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to enter into a lease purchase financing agreement pursuant to GL Chapter 44, Section 21C for the acquisition and equipping of one new police vehicle for the police department, including all other incidental and related expenses for a term not to exceed 3 years, the useful life of said equipment as determined by the select board, and to further make the first year lease payment from the appropriation approved in Article 7 for the police cruiser replacement program at the annual town meeting on May 10th, 2025.
If there's no conversation, I would move to place Article 20 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Question, chief,
Yes.
why, of this amount, how many years were left on the lease?
So we currently don't have any leases. This got very complicated at the end of FY '25, where I was budgeted to purchase a new vehicle via lease. I ordered the vehicle, and then we found out that the law prohibited us from purchasing a leased vehicle unless it was passed at town meeting. So the vehicle that I ordered was then bought outright out of the capital funding.
Okay.
So actually, there needs to be a correction, that's 66257, that didn't pay off an existing lease, that purchased the vehicle outright. So now that remainder, 38742, we will use that. So, right, this is the same thing as the last one, it's a procedural thing, I'm not necessarily going to lease a vehicle. This just gives me the option to lease a vehicle with that funding.
Okay, so of the 105, that was basically paid cash? We bought that?
Yes.
So.
Yes, we paid 66257 cash out of the 105 to purchase a vehicle
Right,
outright.
so the account had 105, we used 66 of it, so the 38 that's left, we're gonna use that from the account to go towards the new vehicle.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
We have a motion and a second? Right?
Mhm.
We do? Okay.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Harry?
Second aye.
Wait, mine.
Nice and nice.
Ledger aye.
Mr. Rochelle.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 20.
Second?
Motion made second, any discussion? Hearing none?
Narrow eye.
Winika, aye.
Benoit eye.
Hey, Brian.
Charlotte, aye.
Purcell, aye.
Ross, aye. Perfect.
All right, Article 21. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
To see if the town will vote to authorize the select board or its designee to award a lease renewal for the postage meter for town hall for a term not to exceed 5 years, or take any other action in relation thereto.
Quick question, any idea what the general cost is?
It's $147 a month. And it's it's already been appropriated. Again, this is another thing, procedural thing that we had to clean up. This is not a lease purchase, this is basically an outright rental, but it's called a lease. So at the end of the 5 years, we'll renew it, get a brand new one and continue. So,
I would move to place Article 21 as presented with a favorable recommendation from select board.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Harry?
Second aye.
Wait, aye.
Nice and aye.
Vote aye.
Ledger aye.
Mr. Rochelle.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 21.
Second?
Okay, any discussion?
Narrow eye.
Winika, aye. Benoit aye.
Hey, aye.
Charlotte, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye.
This,
Article 22, to see if the town will vote to transfer the combined remaining balances of the funds appropriated by Article 11 of the November 2021 special town meeting and Articles 19 and 20 of the November 2022 special town meetings as set forth below, in the amount of $35,155.38, which funds are no longer needed for such purposes, to the library purchase services account.
And just, this was a conversation we had at a select board meeting a few times ago, more for the public, and that these were special town meeting articles that were designated for library work anyway.
Correct, they're all for library, and one of them for the roof repairs, that project is done and complete. The repairs to the library doors, that one was appropriated to replace doors and ended up not being enough to actually fund the replacement, so they utilized some of the funds to make repairs. But it's not going to be enough in its current amount to replace anything. And the landscape updates, nothing has ever been done with that. Reappropriating it for this article, it can still be utilized for that, but it's gonna be up to the library's discretion to prioritize their maintenance
Lights on
projects.
yeah.
Right.
So if there's no other conversation, I would move to place Article 22 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Right, any other discussion?
Just one other note is that this should have been done theoretically for the library through Article 7, but they're using this instead, correct?
Correct.
And does this, through the, Madam Chair, does this stop the discussion about, in the meeting that we went to, and they were gonna close down and we couldn't do all that, so this is gonna stem that till next budget season?
This reappropriates them to their
Right, but so we don't have to worry about that eventuality.
But add this, if I may, add this to our structural deficit
Correct.
because this is,
Well, yes. Well,
Yes.
Yep, it's one-time funds there, sweetheart.
yeah, but it's already been appropriated, so how does it?
it was
still
appropriated as a
there
special
Years
article.
ago.
Their budget was.
Well, we already spent it, but we didn't spend it, so it's really not adding to our structural deficit.
It is because their budget was cut, which is why we're doing this, so.
Okay.
These were
alright.
special, like
Special
free cash
articles, right.
articles.
That was my point about it should have been added in Article 7. So Article 7, the need is actually like 560 grand.
Right.
But they wanted to offset by using some, well, I should say they, and I think Jen was a big proponent of looking at this because of
So the other option-
unneeded of it.
The other option could have been to clear these articles to free cash, but then allocate free cash or appropriations from.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually.
Right, yeah.
I have a question. So, but these are gonna be now put into their purchase services account, which is, if they don't do, like you just said, they could use it for whatever. But if they don't use it, June 30th,
It clears out. Correct.
back to free cash.
But it wasn't budgeted and this is one-time revenue.
Right.
That,
Correct, no, I understand what you're saying, yep. But then, it's not, it doesn't have to be a structural deficit, cause when you prepare the budget next year, you don't put that much money in that account. I know it's gonna add to it right now, but that doesn't mean it's gotta be that much plus next year, so.
Yes, the question would be is, I know that we've had conversations and they're all for it, but this says that they can address several pressing capital needs. What's to prevent them from spending all of this money on capital needs and not using it for operational? That is what that was for.
so if I may, capital needs to me are high expense needs, and so that would have to either go through CIPC or more than the dollar amount here. It's purchase services, and purchase services is line items are generally utilities and the day-to-day incidentals.
I get it, but it says addresses several pressing capital
But it does say operating needs as well.
and
so-
operating needs.
Right.
But what's to say they wouldn't spend it all on capital and not on operating?
Then that's going to be on them. They can't come back asking for more money because they paid for everything for their capital needs and now no longer have money for utilities.
We can make the same argument for any department,
Right.
right? Seth could,
I get that, but then the problem is, the whole reason why this went up was because we didn't want them to shut down the building for meetings. And if they spend it, I'm not saying they're going to.
Thank you, Dan.
I'm not saying they're going to, but what's to prevent them?
I think the only place it says actually capital
Is the
is in
explanation.
the explanation. I don't think that necessarily,
Right, we don't have a restriction on what they can, I mean, there is to an extent,
Well,
but
that's
it's.
well, that's what I'm
going to
saying,
there.
like a capital purchase
well-
would still require,
Right.
a true capital purchase as defined by the town would still require additional approval,
Yeah,
right?
but this is going into purchase services account, so.
But I think that's saying that any department could spend their purchase services
Right.
on what they deem necessary for the.
Well, it wouldn't be a major capital thing, it would be something small.
If I can add just a little color to this. Jen and I went to their meeting, and they promised us what they were gonna do if we could help them out. That's it. And if they fail to do what they say, they're gonna be held accountable.
Okay.
And I think we were pretty clear that we were gonna help them and they were gonna do with what they said, so that's.
I don't know if they just didn't cover their bases here and say, hey, let's put in capital, because it's really not a necessary word there. You know, they came to us.
Just take out capital and put operating
Operations.
needs.
They came
And then
to
that
us.
way we're all good.
You know.
And that way there's no questions, cause
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion from the select board? Harry?
Second, aye.
Wait a minute.
That's an aye.
Go ahead.
Ledger, aye.
Mr. Shell.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 22.
Second?
We have a motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye.
Benoit, aye.
Faber, aye.
Rashala, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye.
All right, number 23, to see if the town will vote to accept the provisions of GL, Chapter 59, Section 5, Clause 54, which authorizes a minimum value personal property tax exemption and establish a minimum value threshold of $1,000 for personal property taxation.
I think the explanation is pretty clear that
Yeah.
oftentimes the cost of billing for less than 1,000 is not worth the revenue. I don't know if there was conversation at FinCom about this or not, but in my mind it makes sense. So I would be willing to make the motion to place Article 23 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion?
Donna, is this your article?
Assessors.
Assessors. I was gonna ask you, how many, I actually, I look at our personal property valuations, and I'm going, how many do have less than $1,000, you know?
I couldn't answer that, but there certainly are a few, which you wouldn't have asked, and yes, it's a lot of work for a little, yeah.
Okay, thanks. No problem.
Am I correct in understanding that this is catching up because we've been doing this for decades?
Decades. Yes.
Did you just say decades? I did too.
And it's officially making it
And
official.
I guess I wonder, how did that,
The correct
how
past
did that
practice, yes.
happen
Yeah.
without, what other rules are we
We're fine.
implementing without?
Look in those books that she's binding, cause it would have been voted and discussed, I'm sure.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Harry?
Second, aye.
Whitman, aye.
That's an aye.
Go ahead.
Ledger, aye.
Okay,
I make a motion that the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 23.
Second?
we have a motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye.
Benoit, aye.
Faber, aye.
Rashala, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye.
Article 24, to see if the town will vote to accept the fourth paragraph of GL Chapter 41, Section 111F, and establish a special injury leave indemnity fund, or take any action relative thereto.
I get a lot of questions on this, I don't know where to start. What happens, the money that goes in there, if it's not, if we don't, first off, do we spend all the injury money we get? First off, no. So how do we know this thing will continue to build and build?
You close it up at the end of the year.
Oh, that's what I wanted to know. Okay,
or at the end of the situation that's pertaining to that injury.
Okay.
It cannot be used to pay the salary of the injured police officer or firefighter. It can only be used to pay the overtime cost to backfill those positions with the available funds that we receive from the insurance company.
Okay. So we don't fund it, the insurance proceeds fund
Correct.
it?
Yep.
Okay.
And this needs to be a consideration if it's coming out of general, I don't know what the dollar amounts are, but that it's coming out of a revenue source for the general fund, correct?
Correct. Yeah, because right now it comes in as a local receipt and goes out through free cash.
But it could be then moved back into the general fund as a revenue source for overtime, to your point, overtime wages or something, right?
Yeah.
And so it's,
So, you could get to like May or June and you can look at the overtime expenses between the police and fire department. And if they're gonna be fine, you don't have to move any money and then you can allow it to close out. Or if they're gonna be short, you can put some of that is directly related to that expense. And then whatever's left over, you can.
If this passes, should it be become part of the financial policy of the town?
I think personally, I would think it wouldn't hurt to have it documented that it exists
And if you're gonna move it
right,
at the end of the
and
years.
right. Because I think that that's some of what we've been running into through all of the MGL cleanup, but then also like charter stuff and everything is the documentation where it's documented and everything. So I think having it in the financial policies, if it's accepted, makes sense. If there's any more questions, Terry?
I'm good.
Then I would move to place Article 24 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Harry?
Second eye.
Wait a minute.
Matt's an
Ledger I.
Mr. Shell.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 24.
Motion made second. Do we have any discussion?
Narwhal, aye.
Unica, aye.
Benoit, aye.
Labor aye.
Rashala, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye. Okay, we're getting there, guys.
Alright, Article 25, see if the town will vote to establish a departmental revolving fund under the provisions of GL Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, as amended, for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026, and thereafter to authorize the use of a revolving fund for the purposes of carrying out the provisions of the Wetlands Protection Bylaw, to be credited with all fees, charges, and other receipts of the Conservation Commission, and further to authorize the expenditure of funds from said account by the Conservation Commission for said purpose in an amount not to exceed the annual spending limit as established prior to July 1st of each fiscal year, and further to amend Section 6.A of Article 5, revolving funds of Chapter 3 of the town's general bylaws to add the italicized text in a new row at the bottom of the table therein.
Just as I think that there's, or take any action, any action, and then below it's also, it's just a clean up.
Oh, right, yeah, it's carried over twice, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
That happened one other place too.
Yes, it did, now I see it.
And this is just because at the annual town meeting, town accepted, passed the wetlands bylaw, the town wetlands bylaw, and so this allows the creation of the fund that they are able to.
Money towards.
Yes, but this is only the amendment to the bylaw.
Right.
We're not setting a spending limit.
Correct.
We will set that at the next annual
Right.
town meeting.
But then any fees that they're
Correct.
collecting now
Yep.
get put into this fund,
Not this year,
not this year.
next year.
Okay.
Yep.
And Jen, if I may, just to add a clarification, the wetlands bylaw does not allow them to collect funds, the rules and regulations do.
Sorry.
So they're no, that's fine, I just, so once the bylaw is accepted by the AG's office, the commission still has to finalize and adopt their own regulations, and then once those are approved and we set the spending limit at the annual town meeting, then they can begin collecting funds.
Thank you.
No problem.
Do we currently have fees and everything else under the system now?
No, so we don't have anything in place right now. The only fee that we can charge is the one that's set by the state for notices of intent. And those get deposited into our Wetlands Protection Act account. But that account is very restrictive in that you can only expend from it for promulgation of the Wetlands Protection Act. This will allow us to charge for other, applications for certificates of compliance and RDAs. It would allow them to charge fees for different things, fines, all of those things.
Which will all have to be determined after.
So that fine table is determined in the rules and regulations that would be adopted by the Conservation Commission.
But the adoption of the bylaw, pending its approval by the AG, allows all of that to happen.
Correct, the
Like,
first step is the bylaw, you can't
town
have the
meeting
regs
already-
without the bylaw.
Right, town meeting
Yeah.
already authorized the commission to do the rules and regs.
Yes. Absolutely. And we should hear back from the state soon. They had requested a 45-day extension, which expires right around now, so we should have an answer from them soon on the bylaw.
Okay, so the only fee they can charge is an application fee right now?
Yes, it's the only fee that we can charge is the one that is set by the state. $262.50 per notice of intent application, but we cannot charge for any other type of application or fee associated with our expenses.
So what's the purpose of gathering all this money? Other than using it for expenses of that, for the Conservation Commission? I guess I'm a little vague here, understanding we're gonna go out there, we're not going to expand this thing to do all kinds of fees, charges, other receipts, and for what purpose? For said purposes, and not to exceed the annual spending limit. I know the select board gets to set the fees, we approve the
Conservation-
fees.
No, the
Huh?
Conservation Commission does with their rules and
We
regulations.
don't set the fees on
You do
this.
not.
That concerns me. That concerns me.
Conservation Commission is the experts for that particular area, not the
Well-
select board.
And MGL empowers them to do it, and by town meeting in the spring accepting the local bylaw, that empowers them to create their own rules and regs.
That's correct.
At the local level.
Yes.
And there was conversation, I believe, around what they were thinking of those rules and regs anyway, so.
Yeah, it's just not enough information here for me on this.
It would go to fund what they do though.
Yeah, there's expenditures associated with their activities, right?
Well,
That
it
are
says
currently coming
expenses, but-
elsewhere.
The
But that's
Conservation
what they're
Commission
doing
doesn't get a
now.
general fund budget. So
That's-
there's
that-
nothing to help compensate for staff time, supplies that we use, the commission's time that goes into, promulgating the Wetlands Protection Act. It's no different than the building department collecting building fees, the planning board collecting application fees. This allows the Conservation Commission to do the same for what is arguably an equal amount of work.
And they would fund their own.
Correct, they'd be self-funded.
Thank you.
You know, I can't. I have a
So
concern.
do you want to
We
pull
need to
out so I would move to place Article 25 as presented.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Alex seconded.
Arthur, as well.
Alright, so this is just for the placement, Harry?
Nay.
Whitman, aye.
That's enough.
Vote aye.
Ledger I.
And I would move for the select board to make a favorable recommendation on Article 25.
I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion on the recommendation?
No, I wouldn't make a recommendation on this one. It's still too vague for me. Only because of what I've heard discussions from the Concon committee of what they can use the fees for. And that bothers me a little, so I can't, in all honesty, for the town, agree to that.
Feedback seat, can I ask what they said they were spending it on that causes you concern? Cause the things they mentioned are the things that we put on the table and that I just said.
I'm not gonna reply to that, Tamika, because
But the feedback is helpful, so we know
no,
what
this
people
feedback
need.
won't be helpful, because it was directed at builders. So this is not helpful, okay? So I can't recommend it favorably,
Sorry, you're voting nay.
nay.
Whitman, aye.
That's enough.
Vote aye.
Ledger I.
Mr. Shell.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommend favorable action on Article 25.
Second.
Any discussion?
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye.
Would abstain.
Favor aye.
Michelle, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye.
Article 26, to see if the town will vote to amend the town's general bylaws by adding, thank you, Donna, a new Article 4 entitled Stormwater Management to Chapter 7 Natural Resources of such general bylaws for the purpose of protecting, preserving, and maintaining the public health, safety, and general welfare by regulating discharges to the municipal stormwater system and controlling the adverse impacts of increased post-development stormwater runoff and pollution associated with development and redevelopment as set forth in the attached document, or take any action thereto.
If Chris would do it, well, I have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna state, this is something that the town must adopt, for us to be in compliance with our MS4 stormwater permit, no later than December 31st of this year.
My question is, I know the other night, I don't remember what night, but the bylaw committee had their public hearings. Oh, it's tonight. Oh,
Their
okay.
info session, yeah.
Okay, so I was like, I know it's the same time as something, and I don't even know what day it is right now, so that's why we don't have a that's my follow-up, was what their recommendation is.
Oh, no, my apologize. I forgot to put it on here. They actually met last Thursday and made their recommendation and it was favorable.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that was my error.
Tonight was the informational meeting.
Right. I mean, it's something that we have to do, and I realize that this has been in the works, and have to do from the national as well as the state level. It's not one or the other.
Yeah.
And more stuff is coming down the pipeline. So I know that there was a lot of engagement with Weston and Sampson to do this, and they're working with communities throughout the state to do similar work. So I think, everybody's up in arms about stormwater, but the reality is it's federal and
this is one where we can face extensive fines
Right.
if we don't have this in place.
It's unfortunate, it's an unfunded mandate though.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
That costs us a lot of
Who
money.
paid Weston and Sampson to write it, cause they didn't do it for free.
Hopefully it came out of stormwater.
Yep.
How much?
Is that where it came?
That's where it's being paid from, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much was it?
I have not seen the bills yet.
So I would make a motion to place Article 26 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
Second, aye.
Wait a
Mattson, aye.
Mr. Shell.
Alex? Roll call.
I'm sorry, what did I?
Did you? Sorry.
Oh.
He didn't.
Wow.
You seconded, but you.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Good vote.
Wow.
We're all tired. Ledger eye.
I don't even know what I was staring at.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommend favorable action on Article 26.
Second.
Any discussion? Karen.
Narwhal abstain.
Winika, aye.
Benoit, no, nay.
Favor aye.
Michelle, aye.
Purcell, aye.
As much as I hate to do it, Ross, aye.
You want us to get funny, Darren?
I am so sick of the state and the federal government putting mandates on us that we, the taxpayers in this town, have to pay. But I voted aye. They do not want us to get
Well,
fried.
this is federal though.
I know, but they still, the same thing.
But the state has a law about unfunded mandate, so, that they have to pay for it, but.
Yeah, which they don't.
Well.
They do have a law, you're right,
Hence
but
the
they have
unfunded.
No,
if they,
I know for a fact that we've gotten money back from them for them, so, cause I did them, so.
if we
But
could,
that was years ago, I'm not saying right now.
Can we move forward? It's getting
Yes,
late.
okay, alright, Article
Some of us
27,
have to go to work
we're so
tomorrow.
close. To see if the town will vote pursuant to GL Chapter 40, Section 58, to establish a municipal charges lien for unpaid stormwater remediation fees to be imposed in accordance with said statute or take any other action in relation thereto. Is this the additional one
This
that,
is the new one,
that
yes.
town
Town
council?
council said we had to put.
Okay. And this allows for us to
Incur debt without appropriating.
Here's the pack of sleeping bag for this town meeting.
My question, I guess, for this is just to ensure that, I know that the first couple billing cycles with stormwater, there were some hiccups and people weren't getting billed and then we're getting late fees, but never seeing bills, and that was a whole process or not. So I just wanna make sure that moving forward with this, that we're giving people an honest opportunity. That we're not just throwing liens at
Oh, correct, yes.
at things because of
Yeah.
hiccups in process.
Well, I would assume a lien is over a long period of time. Cause there's some of us that just simply get this bill and it's not a normal bill and we forget to pay for.
And you pay an extra $25 like I did?
I still have yet to pay it, so
But I think there was some
I'm very
that
behind.
I think it's unfair, but
right.
I mean, I would much rather see this as a second line on a different bill, just for ease. I mean, that's a whole separate conversation, never mind.
I think the issue is we don't have any other bills that go townwide.
Right.
Property tax.
No, because
Not applied to everyone.
a lot are paid out of escrow.
It still goes.
But if you have parcel of land with no structure, you don't get a stormwater bill.
Right.
That's why.
You still mow the lawn.
Can I make a statement
And you
that I think
still-
the
and you
$25
still put-
charge is too much?
Piece of property in the middle of
Is
the
that what
woods.
the late fee is?
Yeah.
I wonder how many late fees they have then. I'm a little bit behind.
So I would move to place
I'm gonna
Article
burn my house down.
27
It's
as
okay.
I'm
presented
trying to
with a
help them
favorable
more.
recommendation from the select board.
You can pay your extra.
We have a motion from the select board, is there a second?
Second.
Alex, thank you. Any further discussion? Harry.
Second eye.
Whitman, aye.
That's a nice.
Mo and I.
He's
Ledger
falling
eye.
asleep.
No, I'm just thinking about my
$25 charge.
my
You
car,
haven't
no, my
paid.
car excise tax that I paid for like 3 years that I didn't have, but they kept billing me for, and I just
You didn't file for that abatement.
no, I didn't.
You have
Way
3
too
years.
lazy.
You have 3
But the funny thing is, I kept getting the bill, and I was like, yes. It kept getting smaller, so I was like, why bother?
I make a motion, the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 27.
Second.
Any discussion?
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye.
Would I?
Hey, Brian.
Rashala, aye.
Purcell, aye.
Ross, aye.
All right, number 28, to see if the town will vote to accept the provisions of GL Chapter 138, Section 12D, which authorizes the select board as the local licensing authority to approve, subject to approval by the ABCC, the conversion of an on-premise license to sell wine and malt beverages only to an on-premise license to sell all alcoholic beverages or take any other action in relation thereto.
That explanation needs to be corrected.
Yeah, there's a few things there that I feel like that's my brain tonight.
Well, at this point, it's definitely.
But you know what's worse is the lawyers looked at this and didn't bring any of these things up.
They're really looking anyway. I know at the select board, we had talked about this, and thought that it was worth a value putting to the residents as an economic, like for the businesses that exist that have this. So if there's no conversation on the select board piece, I would move to place Article 28 as presented, with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Harry?
Second eye.
Whitman, aye.
That's an aye.
All right.
Ledger, aye.
I make a motion that the finance committee recommend favorable action on Article 28.
Second.
Any discussion on this article?
Narwhal, aye.
Winika, aye.
Would I?
Hey, Brian.
Rashala, aye.
Purcell, aye.
And Ross, aye.
And the last one, Article 29, to see if the town will vote to accept as a public way the roadway known as Lindsay Lane, formerly Lemon Circle. I'm not going to read the rest. This is just to follow through the earlier decision for the board to lay out Lindsay Lane as a public way.
I would move to place Article 29 as presented with a favorable recommendation from the select board.
Second.
Motion and a second, and just noting that planning board does have a favorable recommendation they've provided. Any further discussion? Harry?
Second, I.
Whitman, aye.
That's an aye.
Hold on.
Ledger, aye.
I make a motion the finance committee recommends favorable action on Article 29.
Okay, we have a motion made second. Any discussion?
Just a second.
Yes, sir.
Does Bryce Estates have a pumping station?
There was, if I may, I think there was one that was accepted a year or two ago or longer with Woodside.
Woodside, the portion that was
There's
accepted.
actually 2 pump stations accepted with the first phase of Woodside.
I couldn't remember how many, and I think the challenge there is that when everything happened, the timing of subdivision approval versus.
But we're not doing that here by accepting this.
Correct, there's no pump
There's no
stations.
pump stations.
Taking 'em.
Okay.
Wait
Thank
a
you.
minute, we've already taken them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in order for phase 1
Taking the pump
to
stations.
work, that pump station comes up Charnock Hill, Gravity to the next pump station up Main Street.
So does it, well, my earlier point about back charging might apply here because there's still parts of this that are still being built, right? And we haven't accepted everything down there.
We've accepted the portion of the street where
We
the
haven't
pump
accepted
stations are.
everything, have we?
No,
I'm just saying we have a little bit of leverage left, right?
It's one of those we can, we need to look into.
Good luck.
Might as well,
What
you
we
guys are already waded in the water, you might as well jump the rest of the way in.
Don't know that we're just waited in at that point.
Yeah.
you would back charge from 40 turnovers.
We're gonna end up in the pump station.
Detective.
You know what? You know what, that's
We asked earlier that there was in early 2000s, there was something that they were gonna pay into a fund,
Oh, Lord.
a repair fund, and maybe that hasn't been done.
Well, the planning
Narwhal
board-
eye.
Winika, aye. North, aye.
Hey, Brian.
Rochelle, aye.
Purcell, aye.
Ross, aye.
Doesn't mean the town needs to vote on it. We don't need to do any, cause we'll vote to sign on Monday night,
Correct. Yes.
so.
Yep.
Make a
Motion to
motion,
Is there-
a second. Second to adjourn.
You can second.
Oh, sick, sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. You guys can have a vote.
Is there any other
Sorry, I'm
discussion for the select board this week?
Wake up.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So, second.
Hi, Ted.
Motion second.
Thank you, Ted. And I.
Roll call.
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Right, thank you,
Good
Ted.
night, Ted.